Wednesday, January 21st. Today on Your Morning Atlantic, more than 5,000 Nova Scotia Power customers enter a third day without electricity as the temperatures begin to plummet. Your top news headlines just ahead.
And it's Bell Let's Talk Day. We'll speak with the Chief of Psychiatry at the IWK of Health about child and youth mental health supports. That's in our second hour.
Plus, feeling the love. We'll get all the details about the upcoming gala in support of Hospice Halifax, including the always popular Handbags for Hospice auction. That's a little later this morning. All that and so much more just ahead on the Wednesday edition of Your Morning Atlantic.
Good morning, Atlantic Canada. It is 6:01, 6:31 if you are in Newfoundland and parts of Labrador. Welcome to our humble abode.
And we welcome Brianne Foley and this morning, too, in for Crystal. It's been so great to have you back.
Oh, yeah.
It's been so nice to be back. Honestly, when people ask me, like, oh, like, what's it like to be back? It's like riding a bike, you know? A little bit different, an extra hour, getting up a little bit earlier. But other than that, you know, it's feeling pretty natural.
Good. It feels natural for us. We're like, oh yeah, she was like just like on vacation for a little bit.
It's like you never left, really. But we're so happy to have you.
It's like, is that a good thing or a bad thing?
It's a good thing. It's a good thing.
Oh my goodness, yes, it is nice. Although, not gonna lie, waking up this morning, it was very cold when I went to go start my car, and I was like, it was doing the, and I was like, oh no.
You're like, please start, please start.
Please start.
Taking you back to prairie days.
Exactly. You and I know those days well.
Oh my goodness, yeah, bitterly cold across the region this morning. Factor in that wind chill, feeling even colder, so make sure to layer up, bundle up before heading outdoors. We are going to see temperatures rise just a bit, but still going to remain below the freezing mark for much of the region. Inching towards the end of the work week when we're going to see that deep freeze take effect into the overnight hours of Friday.
Those are words I don't like.
I know. Ooh. I didn't have to say them.
Great for the skating outside.
That's true. Here's a look at Fredericton early this morning. Currently minus 17 degrees in your area. Factor in that wind chill, going to feel closer to minus 23 in Fredericton. Minus 15 starting off your day in Charlottetown, minus 12 in Halifax, minus 13 degrees early this morning in Sydney, minus 5 into St. John's, Newfoundland. So as you can see here, that wind chill quite cold for parts of New Brunswick, looking at a risk of frostbite into the northern region early this morning. Also, Newfoundland, Labrador sitting quite cold early this morning. When you factor in that wind chill, there is a risk of frostbite for many areas across Labrador. Snow squall watch remains in effect for parts of Newfoundland. We now have a cold warning in effect for tonight, as well as a snow squall warning and a wind warning. And then for Labrador, looking at a wind warning and a cold warning in effect as well. So we do have another system on its way, but not today. Today we're looking at a chance of some flurry activity remaining for parts of the Maritime region. Also going to be seeing sunshine as you start your day. For Labrador, still looking at some periods of snow, but for the most part going to see some sunshine today, not helping to warm things up though. And then for Newfoundland, looking at a bit of snowfall as well. In terms of the wind, it's going to be bit of a breezy day yet again. 56 kilometers per hour right now in North Cape, 52 into Grand Etang, 46 in Canso, 39 in Greenwood. Wind gusts of up to 70 kilometers per hour right now in North Cape, 67 into Grand Etang, 61 in Sydney, 63 in Canso. We'll take a look at your long-range forecast just ahead, but first a look at your local news with Amanda.
Thank you, Latavia. Roughly 5,700 Nova Scotia Power customers are still waiting for their electricity to return this morning after they were knocked off the grid early Monday during a nor'easter.
As we get out and we get into the field to restore power, there are multiple trees on lines that have to be removed, and it takes multiple crews at each outage to restore power for our customers.
We had a day and a bit of commercial customers without power, so that's impacting, not just business operations, but employees, a lot of minimum wage employees.
Restoration times vary from later this morning to late in the afternoon. Some of the hardest hit areas include the Bridgewater and Liverpool areas, where secondary roads are posing challenges. Bridgewater's mayor says better communication about response efforts from the utility is needed. One person has died in an early morning fire outside of Chester, Nova Scotia. Crews responded to a property on Balsam Drive in Chester Grant around 6:25 Tuesday morning. They arrived to a camper trailer engulfed in flames. After the fire was out, they found the remains of an adult at the scene. The investigation is ongoing, but police don't expect to find anything criminal. A Nova Scotia man is facing charges after a senior was assaulted in an apartment in Truro just before midnight Monday night. Police say they received a number of calls about the incident, and the 79-year-old victim was treated for serious injuries. The 48-year-old is accused of aggravated assault, assault with a weapon, and damage to property. Investigators say both men know each other and the incident was not random. There is more pressure in New Brunswick for a full-scale investigation into the most recent police-related death of an Indigenous person in the province. Green Party leader David Kuhn is calling for the RCMP commissioner to launch an investigation into how police respond to mental health and domestic dispute calls involving Indigenous people.
He's got a responsibility to really look at this, engage in the Indigenous community, and look at the training of RCMP officers.
On Sunday, Bronson Paul was shot and killed by police at a house on Nikook First Nation. Premier Susan Holt has said her government would do its part for an investigation. And late yesterday afternoon, the PC leader released a statement expressing sympathy for the family, saying we must remain respectful as this process unfolds. The Nova Scotia-based Serious Incident Response Team is leading the investigation. The Northern Lights were on display over the Maritimes again last night. On the ground, spectacular photos were being shared on social media. CTV's Ryan McDonald has more.
Whether they were out in the woods or in the middle of a suburban neighborhood, people in all three maritime provinces looked up into the night sky last night and saw a bright show.
From home, I've seen some pink glow in the sky, and that indicated that, yeah, we were onto something fairly early in the evening.
Chris Tinsky is an experienced nature photographer in Cape Breton. He and another professional photographer decided to go somewhere dark to try and capture last night's aurora borealis at its best.
It's a big check mark on the list to get Northern Lights. They react differently every time. There's different colors.
On social media, the photos came in fast and furious from many different corners of the region. Tinsky says while it helps to have some idea what you're doing, you don't need to own an expensive camera to enjoy nature's beauty like this.
Nowadays, with cell phone technology, you can kind of point your phone, do a 3 to 10 second exposure on your phone, and that light should show up on your phone and gives you a great idea where to look.
We asked meteorologist Caleb Mitchell why we have been seeing the Northern Lights more often in the Maritimes in recent years.
We are currently in a period where the sun is more active, and we're seeing more of these coronal mass ejections, which increases our chances.
With any luck, the night sky might light up like this once again before too long. Ryan McDonald, CTV News, Sydney.
Well, thank you so much, Ryan, for that roundup. And a reminder, too, you can send us a text at 10400 if you do have some spectacular photos, whether it's from the Northern Lights or something else, something happening in your community. We would love to see it and potentially share it on the show.
Or your animals.
Or your animals.
We always love those.
Number one priority for me.
Yeah, that is.
So today is, of course, Bell Let's Talk Day, and the call to action this year is for each of us to try and take some time to do something that's good for our mental health. So here's the painting that Bell Let's Talk Chair Mary Deacon painted for the Mosaic Mental Health Fundraiser. So yes, isn't it stunning?
Oh, you know what? Unfortunately, that's not it. No, unfortunately, that's not the painting.
Oh.
Yeah.
Sad.
You know what? We'll work on getting it.
Yeah.
Because I have seen it. It's a beautiful blue one.
Okay.
And she was talking last week about how she likes to take some time to paint. Like, that's very good for her mental health.
Right.
And Crystal was saying that that photo went, like, that painting she did was gone so quickly.
Wow. That's amazing.
Yeah. So we'll get you the right one, and we'll share it later in the show.
Yeah. But like, so for Mary, it's painting that is something that's good for her mental health.
Yeah.
I know for me, it's working out. You know, it's more even so than my physical health. It's for my mental health that I like to work out.
Oh, 100%. I feel better if I've got a very good exercise, like routine.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So do something that's good for you today.
So true. And also coming up a little bit later in the show, we're going to sit down with a psychiatrist from the IWK to talk about the importance of teen and youth mental health and the supports in the region. All right, though, but we're going to take a first break. We're going to have your first look at your national and international news headlines. Good morning to our viewers in Antigonish, Nova Scotia. Traffic is starting to pick up. Latavia has a forecast next.
And here is that painting that we were just speaking on that Bell Let's Talk chair has painted for our Bell Let's Talk Day. A stunning photo that went really quick. Find something that you love to do today and give gratitude back to the world.
Here's a live look at Halifax early this morning. Quite cold starting off your day. Keep that in mind when you are heading out. Currently minus 12 degrees in your area. That's not even factoring in that wind chill early this morning. Weather is brought to you by ALC.ca and is quite cold right across the board this morning. As of right now, it is minus 17 degrees as you head outdoors in Fredericton, minus 15 in Charlottetown with minus 13 in Sydney, minus 34 degrees in Labrador City, and minus 6 starting off your day in St. John's, Newfoundland. Snow squall watches remain in effect today. We are still expecting 5 to 10 centimeters, potentially up to 20 within those snow squalls. Wind gusts ranging from 70 to 80 kilometers per hour. A cold warning now in effect for tonight until Thursday morning. The wind chill could near minus 35. And then a snow squall warning also in effect until Thursday morning. Could see 7 to 12 centimeters, up to 25 within those snow squalls. And a wind warning also seeing around 80 to 100 kilometers per hour. We also have a wind warning in effect for this morning until later this evening for parts of Labrador. Could see wind gusts of 100 kilometers per hour. A cold warning also remaining in effect. Here's a look at our forecast timeline. Still seeing a bit of active weather early this morning, but for the most part, we are going to see sunshine starting off your day. Not really helping to warm things up, though. It's going to be quite cold in the morning and then into the afternoon. Those daytime highs still below the freezing mark. We are going to see a chance of some flurry activity for parts of Cape Breton Island, for parts of Newfoundland, looking at some light snowfall as well as into parts of Labrador. Into the afternoon, seeing a chance of some flurry activity return for parts of Nova Scotia. Taking us into this evening, we're going to see a chance of flurries transition over to periods of snow, taking us into early Thursday morning. We do have mixed precipitation expected. In terms of our snowfall outlook, looking at around 1 to 5 centimeters of accumulation for parts of New Brunswick and Nova Scotia, seeing around 5 to 15 centimeters for Labrador and parts of Newfoundland, looking at 1 to 10 centimeters of accumulation. Here's a look at our forecast today for New Brunswick. A sunny start to your day, seeing a chance of flurries returning into the afternoon. Daytime highs will range from minus 9 to minus 3. Wind gusts of 50 kilometers per hour remain. And for Prince Edward Island, highs between minus 8 to minus 7. A chance of some isolated flurries start off the day, clearing out, leaving a mix of sun and cloud into the afternoon. Wind gusts of 70 kilometers per hour expected. For Cape Breton, eastern Nova Scotia, starting off the day with flurries as well, clearing out, leaving mainly cloudy skies with highs between minus 8 to minus 4. And for the rest of Nova Scotia, starting off the day with sunshine, isolated flurries expected into the afternoon. Wind gusts of 50, daytime highs between minus 4 to minus 1. Labrador City quite cold yet again today, minus 28 degrees. Seeing sunshine throughout your day, though. A high of minus 4 degrees for St. John's, Newfoundland, looking at some flurries throughout yours. So Thursday's forecast, another cooler day ahead, but for parts of the Maritime region, actually warming up above the freezing mark before dipping back down into Thursday night. We do have a chance of snow and or rain moving in across much of Atlantic Canada. Into Friday morning, we start to see a bit more sunshine expected before we look at flurry activity returning and that deep freeze into the overnight hours of Friday. That's a look at your weather forecast. We'll throw things over to Amanda.
Thank you, Latavia. The Prime Minister presented his starkest assessment yet about the state of the world and Canada's place in it. Mark Carney sharply criticized Donald Trump without mentioning him and issued this global call to action at Davos.
The middle powers must act together because if we're not at the table, we're on the menu. The powerful have their power. But we have something too. The capacity to stop pretending, to name reality, to build our strength at home, and to act together.
With more on what else Mark Carney said and the reaction, here is CTV's Annie Bergeron-Oliver.
Nestled in the usually calm mountains of the ski town Davos, a chaotic meeting of hundreds of politicians and top business leaders at the World Economic Forum that this year Prime Minister Mark Carney used to deliver a frank message about the future.
The old order is not coming back. We shouldn't mourn it. Nostalgia is not a strategy. But we believe that from the fracture, we can build something bigger, better, stronger, more just.
Carney declared the U.S.-led world order dead and said countries must turn inward now that it's clear integration can lead to subordination.
Call it what it is, a system of intensifying great power rivalry where the most powerful pursue their interests using economic integration as coercion.
Withstanding those economic shocks, the Prime Minister said will require like-minded countries to pivot, to work together to hedge uncertainty. While Trump's name was never mentioned, Carney did call on middle powers like Canada to push back against domination by great powers, using tariffs as leverage and supply chains as vulnerabilities to be exploited.
In a world of great power rivalry, the countries in between have a choice. Compete with each other for favor, or to combine to create a third path with impact.
The message receiving what organizers described as a rare standing ovation at a summit where geopolitics and the future of Greenland is looming large.
Our commitment to NATO's Article 5 is unwavering. Canada strongly opposes tariffs over Greenland and calls for focused talks to achieve our shared objectives of security and prosperity in the Arctic.
CTV's Annie Bertrand-Oliver reporting in Davos. And no wavering from the U.S. president on Greenland as Donald Trump also marked the one-year anniversary of his second term in office. CTV's Joy Malbin reports on what else Trump said about the island.
Marking his first year of his second term.
It's big stuff, too. Look, we have the hottest country in the world.
The president giving his own assessment, flashing mugshots of immigration arrests.
They're murderers, they're drug lords.
Applauding his biggest achievement, his crackdown in U.S. cities on undocumented immigrants. Admitting he felt bad about the fatal shooting of Renee Good, whose parents are Trump supporters.
I felt horribly when I was told that the young woman who was had the tragedy.
The president touted his victories, the capture of Venezuelan dictator Nicolas Maduro, bombing Iran's nuclear facilities. But 1 year later, it's a battle of narratives. Prices have increased because of Donald Trump's tariffs. Americans are struggling. Polls give him failing marks on his promise to bring down prices, and many disapprove of his foreign adventures.
How far are you willing to go to acquire Greenland?
You'll find out.
Trump is digging in, posting an AI image of him planting a U.S. flag on Greenland, claiming it as U.S. territory. The Arctic island belongs to Denmark, a NATO ally.
We will work something out where NATO is going to be very happy, but we need it for security purposes. We need it for national security and even world security.
And threatening new tariffs against NATO allies who get in the way. A fracture in the NATO alliance the French president described as a world without rules.
We do believe that we need more growth, we need more stability in this world. But we do prefer respect to bullies.
European leaders calling out the president in no uncertain terms.
Let me put this in words you might understand. Mr. President, off.
France offered to host an emergency summit on tensions, but Trump dismissed it as he gets set to speak to leaders on the Davos stage, again insisting there's no going back on his plan to take Greenland.
CTV's Joy Malbin reporting in Washington, and we'll speak with Dalhousie's Robert Hewish about Greenland coming up at 7:15. Until then, we have a quick break here on Your Morning Atlantic. When we return, we'll have your must-see moment from TSN and your business headlines. We'll be right back.
Move Mornings with Aaron and Peter. Weekday mornings on Move 100. The most fun in the morning. And home of the $1,000 minute. Only on Move 100 Halifax.
Welcome back. It is 6:25, and the only problem with working this show is that I never get to see sports at night.
I know.
So we're going to go over to our friends at TSN Sports Center for today's must-see moment.
Hello there, Kara Wagland in the Sports Center newsroom with your must-see moment from Tuesday. And for it, we take you to Winnipeg, where the Jets were hosting the Blues. St. Louis has themselves a 2-on-1. Cam Fowler, the shot, mostly stopped by Eric Comrie, but it trickles towards the net, and Nito Niederreiter gets back and pulls it off the goal line. Look at this. The puck was rolling into the net until Niederreiter earned himself a free dinner from Eric Comrie, and also our must-see moment. And coming up today on TSN, we've got some Raptors basketball. The Raps are in Sacramento to take on the Kings. Coverage for that one gets underway at 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 Pacific. That's all for now from Sports Center. Have a great day.
This TSN must-see moment brought to you by J.R. Rahe's Furniture and Appliances.
Now we'll take a look at your business headlines from our colleagues at BNN.
The American markets were closed on Monday, so this is the first chance investors have had to respond to the rhetoric. And clearly, they were shaken, continuing to sell America, sending the market nosediving. Both the S&P 500 and the Nasdaq dropped over 2%. And the threat to Greenland sent spot gold to a new record high, above $4,700 an ounce. Here are the closing numbers for the day. The Canadian dollar is up to 72.29. West Texas Intermediate up over $1 to 60.36. Western Canadian Select unchanged at 45.16. And the TSX lost 340 points to slip back under 33,000. Those are your business headlines. I'm Marilla Fernandez.
Now taking a look at our 3-day forecast for New Brunswick, a high of -8 degrees today. Looking at a mix of sun and cloud with evening snow. And then on Thursday, a high of -2. We have isolated flurries throughout the day, transitioning over to snow into the evening. And on Friday, -5 degrees with sunny skies. Into Nova Scotia, looking at -6 degrees today. A chance of some flurry activity, also seeing sunshine with evening snow. On Thursday, 5 degrees is your daytime high, snow and rain across the province. Then on Friday, -2 degrees, a mix of sun and cloud with evening flurries. For Prince Edward Island, a high of -8 degrees today, looking at flurries expected throughout your day with evening snow. On Thursday, 2 degrees as your daytime high, snow and rain across the island. Then on Friday, -5 with sunny skies, evening flurries.
Just ahead in this half hour, the Move Morning Chat. We want to know, what chore did you hate as a kid? That's in about 15 minutes on Your Morning Atlantic.
If there's a parent right now who's actually saying to their kids, okay, like, hurry up, we need you to get this done before you head off to school. It is 6:31. Thank you for joining us this morning. Yeah, that conversation coming up with Aaron and Peter. So it's going to be interesting to just go back and look at our childhoods and think about the chore that you absolutely hated.
I was a princess. I didn't really have to do much. It's true.
Nothing?
Like, my mom and my dad did everything.
Wow.
I had to, like, clean up my room, I guess, occasionally, but my mom would just come in and just sweep everything up. But I hated that as a teenager, because you're like, don't go through my stuff.
Don't touch
it's my stuff. Don't touch. Don't touch.
It's funny because, like, I used to hate making my bed, but now it's like a point where it's like my day doesn't feel complete without making my bed now. But when I was a kid, I was like, no.
As an adult, yeah, you're like, I gotta fix this bed.
Yeah.
It looks wild.
Yeah, it is.
How do you leave?
You don't feel settled. Do you ever have it, though, when you're, like, so busy, your bed's messy, and then it's time to go to bed, and your bed's messy? Do you remake your bed before you go in? Because I do.
No.
Yeah.
I do not. That's extreme. Yeah, no.
If I've had,
I do not remake my bed just to jump in it.
I do. It
Instantly.
just feels fresh.
Like you make it and then I make it and go right into bed.
Well, I make it and then yes.
Yeah. Wild.
But you know, it just feels right.
Well, I do make it in the morning, and then if it's a weekend, I do get back into bed. But I don't do that before bedtime.
I don't do it at all.
See? It makes sense. I could have had a little afternoon nappy nap. And then by the time it's 7 or 8:30,
Who's doing that at 7 or 8:30, Amanda?
No, when I go for my proper bedtime.
Yeah, exactly. It's so late. I just want to roll into bed.
You might not want to roll out of bed, though, because it's a little chilly out there today.
Oh, yeah, stay under the covers.
Yeah. Feeling quite cold. Starting off your day, it's not too bad in St. John's, Newfoundland. It is -6. You are going to see a bit of activity, though, in terms of some flurries early in the morning. Something to keep in mind when you are heading out. Dress accordingly because that wind chill will factor in today across Atlantic Canada. As of right now, it is -17 degrees as you head outdoors in Fredericton, -15 starting off your day in Charlottetown, -12 in Halifax, -13 in Sydney, much colder in Labrador City at -34. Here's a look at that wind chill. There is a risk of frostbite early this morning for the northern region of New Brunswick. Also for Labrador, seeing that risk of frostbite this morning, and it's feeling quite cold for both Newfoundland and Labrador. A snow squall watch remains in effect for parts of Newfoundland. We do have a cold warning as well in effect for tonight until Thursday morning. A snow squall warning and a wind warning in effect. And then for Labrador, looking at a wind warning and a cold warning until later this afternoon. Here's a look at our satellite and radar. Starting off the day with sunshine for the most part. And we are going to see a chance of flurry activity return into the afternoon for the Maritime region. Newfoundland, Labrador also going to see a bit of flurry activity and light snowfall. A look at our current wind, another breezy day ahead. As of right now, 52 kilometers per hour in North Cape, 46 in Grand Etang, 44 in Canso, 39 in Sydney. Wind gusts of up to 67 kilometers per hour in Canso, 57 in Sydney, and 61 in North Cape and Grand Manan. Or Grand Etang, rather. We'll take a look at your full forecast coming up, but here's a look at your local news with Amanda.
Thank you, Latavia. And on this cold morning, roughly 5,700 Nova Scotia power customers are still waiting for their electricity to return after they were knocked off the grid early Monday during that nor'easter.
As we get out and we get into the field to restore power, there are multiple trees on lines that have to be removed, and it takes multiple crews at each outage to restore power for our customers.
We had a day and a bit of commercial customers without power, so that's impacting, not just business operations, but employees, a lot of minimum wage employees.
Restoration times vary from later this morning to the afternoon. Some of the hardest hit areas include Bridgewater and Liverpool, where secondary roads are posing challenges. Bridgewater's mayor says better communication about response efforts from the utility is needed. In Nova Scotia's Antigonish County, Mounties issued a public alert just after noon Tuesday for residents in the Pomquet Forks area. The notice said 2 men believed to be armed abandoned a vehicle and fled on foot. Both were later arrested and the alert was canceled. There is more pressure in New Brunswick for a full-scale investigation into the most recent police-related death of an Indigenous person in the province. Green Party leader David Kuhn is calling for the RCMP commissioner to launch an investigation into how police respond to mental health and domestic dispute calls involving Indigenous people.
He's got a responsibility to really look at this, engage in the Indigenous community, and look at the training of RSMP officers.
On Sunday, Bronson Paul was shot and killed by police at a house on Nuguktuk First Nation. Premier Susan Holt has said her government will do its part for an investigation. And late in the afternoon, the province's PC leader, Glenn Savoy, released a statement expressing sympathy for the family, saying we must remain respectful as this process unfolds. The Nova Scotia-based Serious Incident Response Team is leading the investigation. Patients at the Chalmers Hospital in Fredericton can expect to experience a domino effect in the days ahead as officials try to rearrange things to maximize space and eliminate a makeshift medical unit that's been heavily criticized. CTV's Laura Brown has details and reaction.
This is November of 1975, about a year before the Dr. Everett Chalmers Hospital officially opened to patients. Half a century later, the city has long outgrown the building.
We have patients that are within hallways, within waiting rooms, within family rooms, and other locations. None of these locations is ideal.
Horizon Health has been under fire for having to resort to the hospital's ambulance bay for extra space. 13 beds were created in the garage where there's no running water or proper washrooms. Now the network is promising to move those beds to another wing, but not before moving other services elsewhere, and so on, a complex game of dominoes.
At this point in time, we need, though, to plan realistically for how we can increase our capacity, knowing that the numbers of these patients may actually increase.
The patients she's referring to, people waiting in the hospital for a long-term care bed. Right now, 142 beds are being used by those patients. A plan for them is needed now, Richard Lossier insists.
My biggest frustration is that we don't have a bed plan. And what I mean by that is that there's no new capacity in New Brunswick right now. That's going to happen starting next year. You ask me what's the next nursing home being built there? I can't answer.
The ambulance bay will still be used for administering care. Plans are to turn it into an extension of the emergency department. And while the ER needs the space, so do paramedics, says David Kuhn.
It's inhumane to unload people who are at risk of dying in the snow in the wintertime, outdoors. We need a working ambulance space.
Right now, though, it's serving the urgent need for an old hospital struggling to meet modern problems. Laura Brown, CTV News, Fredericton.
Thank you, Laura. That's your second look at your local news headlines on this Wednesday morning, too. It is neat to see the footage from the 70s of the Chalmers Hospital when it first opened.
It's so fun. I love seeing, like, then and nows.
Yeah.
Definitely one of my favorite things. So it's actually carnival season in Bolivia's capital, and it's in a quirky way. So La Paz launched 40 days of carnival with the traditional exhumation of cucumber. Yeah. It's a ritual around the rebirth of the city's iconic mischievous character. Hundreds of people came out and for a mock funeral, carrying Pinipo's purple coffin through the streets, led by the municipal band and the mayor.
Interesting.
Right?
This is straight out of my nightmare. Clowns, and I'm terrified of clowns, but very cool.
So you're not going to Bolivia during carnival season, I guess?
No.
No?
And jumping out of a coffin?
A clown jumping out of a coffin?
And kissing them?
Yeah, no, this would be your nightmare. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to trigger anybody.
Now I'm awake.
I mean, they're having a great time.
Oh, yeah, it's really cool.
And it just looks so warm there.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah, I'll take that weather.
So maybe I'll show up for that?
Yeah, I'll be there, just maybe with, like, a blindfold on, walking through the streets, not to see the clowns.
Just feeling the heat.
Yeah.
You're a huge scary movie person.
I am. I hate clowns in real life. Like, they terrify me. On, like, screens, it's not as bad. But I remember as a kid, my mom had this little clown wind-up toy.
Oh, yeah?
Put on my dresser every night, and it would, like, sing, and it would rotate its head, and I was terrified of this thing. It wasn't until, like, I could literally tell her, like, I don't like this thing. I would literally cover it, too, as a kid, because it was like,
No. On that note,
wow.
That's why. Yeah.
Oh boy, well, hopefully there's nothing scary in your entertainment headlines, because that's coming up later this half hour. Also, too, it's the Move Morning Chat. Today, we're not asking about your childhood fears. We're asking, what was a chore you hated as a kid? Well, maybe that was a fear. That conversation coming up next.
It is freezing over in McAdam early this morning. Welcome back, Atlantic, Canada. The time now is 6:44. Minus 23 degrees as of right now in your area, so make sure to layer up before heading out. We are seeing colder temperatures right across Atlantic Canada early this morning. As of right now, it is minus 17 degrees in Fredericton, minus 15 over in Charlottetown, minus 13 early this morning in Sydney, minus 12 degrees in Halifax, minus 34 in Labrador City, and minus 6 degrees starting off your day in St. John's, Newfoundland. A snow squall watch remains in effect for this morning until Thursday for parts of Newfoundland. Could see around 5 to 15 centimeters, potentially up to 25 centimeters within those snow squalls, and wind gusts between 70 to 80 kilometers per hour. A cold warning for tonight until Thursday morning. Could see the wind chill nearing minus 35, and a snow squall warning also in effect for parts of Newfoundland, and a wind warning for this morning. Over to Labrador, looking at a wind warning also in effect this morning until this evening, looking at wind gusts of up to 100 kilometers per hour. A cold warning until this afternoon, wind chill nearing minus 45. Here's a look at our forecast timeline. So we are going to start off the day with sunshine for many areas across Atlantic Canada. We do have flurry activity as well, starting off the day for Cape Breton Island and seeing some light snowfall for parts of Newfoundland and parts of Labrador. Into the afternoon, we are going to see a chance of some isolated flurries return to all three maritime provinces. Taking us into this evening, much of the same expected, looking at a bit of cloudier skies for parts of the maritime region, seeing a chance of some flurries taking us into early Thursday morning, where it's going to transition over to periods of snow. And we are going to see mixed precipitation in the forecast for Thursday. In terms of our snowfall outlook, looking at around 1 to 5 centimeters of accumulation for New Brunswick and parts of Nova Scotia, seeing around 5 to 15 centimeters for parts of Labrador, and then for Newfoundland, looking at around 1 to 10 centimeters of accumulation. Over to our forecast today for New Brunswick, starting off the day with sunshine, increasing cloudiness into the afternoon with a chance of flurries. Daytime highs will range from -9 to -3 degrees, wind gusts of 50 kilometers per hour. Prince Edward Island looking at flurries starting off the day, clearing into the afternoon, leaving a mix of sun and cloud. Daytime highs between -8 to -7, wind gusts getting up to 70. And then for Cape Breton, eastern Nova Scotia, looking at daytime highs between -8 to -4. Flurries starting off the day, clearing out, leaving mainly cloudy skies, wind gusts of 50. For the rest of Nova Scotia, looking at highs between -4 to -1. Starting off the day with sunshine, seeing flurries return into the afternoon. For Labrador City, a high of -28 degrees today. We are going to see sunshine throughout your day. -4 degrees for St. John's, Newfoundland. Flurries expected throughout yours. Thursday's forecast, temperatures will rise above the freezing mark for parts of the maritime region. We are going to be dealing with snow and or rain for much of Atlantic Canada. Temperatures really cooling back down into Friday morning. We are going to see a bit of sunshine, but also a chance of flurries returns. Into the evening hours, that's when we see that deep freeze return. It's going to be quite cold into Friday night, carrying into the weekend as well. So that's a look at your weather forecast. We'll throw things over to the Move Morning Chat.
You know, that sounds the Move Morning Chat with our friends Aaron and Peter in Morning Radio. Today we're talking about the chore you had to do when you were a child that you just simply dreaded. And I gotta know, what has us talking about this morning?
Well, we all have one, and there's actually a guy going viral right now. He shared his chore list that his dad made for him when he was only 8 years old, and the internet can't get over it because, of course, there are your normal daily things like making your bed and finish your homework, but it gets so intense. It's like 0 dishes left in the sink every day, empty the trash every day, all school clothes must be ironed every single day. It was like the bathroom must be scrubbed every Saturday. It was pretty intense. So we started talking about chores that we had as kids that we could not stand doing. I grew up in a household of 6 people, and it was always my job to help fold the clothes. But our laundry was just one big mountain, everybody's clothes combined. So I'm going through socks and underwear. I don't know whose this is. I don't want to do it, and I think it's why I put off folding my laundry for so long as an adult. I hate it.
Okay. And in my household, I dislike doing the dishes so badly. But unfortunately, my older brother may have disliked it even more. It was so bad that my father came up with a very distasteful term for what we did when we wanted to get out of the kitchen so quickly after dinner was done. We didn't have a dishwasher, by the way, so we had to do the dishes by hand. And he came up with the term dishpan diarrhea. Oh. It had to do with how quickly either my brother or me could say, I have to go to the bathroom. We could put off doing our share of the dishes.
I love that.
I had to say it.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing. I love that.
Wow, that is incredible. Okay, mine is simple, and you guys might laugh at this, but it was a simple chore. And I don't think I ever did it. And I don't know if my mom even realizes that. It was just the night before school, get your backpack ready. It's simple, just making sure your backpack was ready, but I was so busy like playing video games or reading a book or whatever I wanted to do. I wanted to do anything but. And even though that would be so simple, not even take minutes to do, I never wanted to do it, so I never did do it, and then I rushed every single morning. A simple chore. To this day, I still think like, oh, no, I don't want to do that.
I love it. It's so funny because there's so many that pop into my head. I'm like, oh, I hated doing that. I hated doing that. And I'm like, was I just an ungrateful child because I just hated doing all of the chores? But I think the number one thing was I also grew up in a household of 6 people, and we only had one bathroom with like a tub and everything. And so you would take turns like cleaning the bathroom. And the bathtub, because it's like so big and so hard to like reach around and clean everything properly as a kid, and we didn't have like one of those ones that came off and like you could like squirt it all down with like the hose, right? Portion of it. It was just like I could never get it clean enough, and my sister always did an immaculate job, and so I was always comparing myself to her, and I was like, I can't do it. So that one would have to be mine.
Brutal.
But if there are any kids watching, know that it's really important to do your chores.
Do your chores.
Yeah, especially if your parents ask you that. Okay, so we are asking our viewers too, what was a chore that you just dreaded doing when you were a child? Please send us a text at 10400. We will share your answers later in the show.
Hey, welcome back. It is 6:54, and it's probably a good time to catch a flight.
Let's do it.
All right, over to Hollywood for your entertainment headlines.
Magic Mike is Big Apple bound. Channing Tatum is bringing the stage spinoff of his wildly successful male dancer movie franchise to New York in the fall. The show, Magic Mike Live, opens on October 8th as an immersive experience at the one-time Copacabana nightclub. The show's creative director is banking on a big run.
We're hoping it lasts 10 to 20 years.
We hope to be here as long as Lion King.
Yeah.
Sad news in the rock world. Rob Hurst has died. He was a founding member of the Australian group Midnight Oil. Hurst was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer in 2023. He was 70 years old. Sabrina Carpenter has been announced as one of the performers at this year's Grammy Awards. The pop star is nominated 6 times this year, with her hit Man-Child up for Song of the Year, and recent album Man's Best Friend nominated for Album of the Year. And happy 50th birthday to Baby Spice. English singer Emma Bunton of the Spice Girls is hitting the half-century mark today. And that's what's happening in Hollywood. Melissa Adon, ABC News.
Happening now in your local news headlines, roughly 5,700 Nova Scotia Power customers are still waiting for their electricity to return on this cold morning after they were knocked off the grid early Monday during a nor'easter. Plus, in New Brunswick, the largest defense company in the country is now Indigenous owned. We'll have those details coming up. Plus, a new snapshot about how older Canadians feel about aging and the loneliness that could potentially come with it. We'll have those details coming up from Charlottetown next in your local news headlines. But first, it's a look at the 3-day with Latavia.
Thanks, Amanda. Starting off in New Brunswick, a high of -8 degrees today. We do have a bit of sunshine, but also isolated flurries into the afternoon. Transitions over to snow into the evening. On Thursday, -2 degrees. Isolated flurries return into the evening. Snow yet again. And on Friday, sunshine with a high of -5, dropping, though, to -20. Nova Scotia looking at a high of -6 degrees today. Flurries and sunshine throughout your day. Evening snow. Snow into rain on Thursday. And then on Friday, looking at a mix of sun and cloud. Evening flurries, a low of -10. For Prince Edward Island, -8 degrees today. Flurries transition over to snow. Thursday, looking at mixed precipitation with a high of 2. -5 on Friday. Sunshine returns.
#21 today on Your Morning Atlantic. More than 5,000 Nova Scotia Power customers enter a 3rd day without electricity as temperatures begin to plummet. Your top news headlines in the forecast just ahead.
And growing tensions over Greenland. We'll speak with Dalhousie University's Robert Hewish about Donald Trump's threats and what it could mean for Canada and other allies. That's just ahead on the Wednesday edition of Your Morning Atlantic.
Good morning, Atlantic Canada. Thank you so much for joining us. The time now is 7 o'clock, almost 7:01, shortly. And it's quite cold outside. I love it.
And it's cold.
I can sense the sarcasm.
Oh, yeah. Winter's my thing.
Winter isn't coming. Winter is here.
Yeah, it is here, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Today's cold. It's going to be a lot colder Friday night.
Okay.
Yeah, that's when that deep freeze is headed our way. That colder air moving across Atlantic Canada, really cooling things down into this weekend and next week. So
wow, not good if you're still waiting for power to be returned in Nova Scotia. Yeah,
I feel for those people, because when I lost power, it was only for one day, and it was getting cold in our unit, which is not good for anyone.
No.
So I'm hoping to get power back soon.
Yeah.
Restoration times are for later this morning and for in the afternoon. That's the latest from Nova Scotia Power. And we're really seeing this in communities in Lunenburg County. Yeah, so we'll have the latest coming up in the news. So just how cold is it going to get today?
Ugh. When you factor in that wind chill, it's going to feel even colder across the region. So it's a perfect day to layer up before heading out for sure.
Dress for the daytime lows, not the highs.
Absolutely. Here's a live look at St. John, starting off your day at minus 15 degrees already. And then we'll take a look at that wind chill a little bit later on, but quite cold right across Atlantic Canada this morning. Minus 15 degrees in Charlottetown, with minus 13 starting off your day in Sydney. Minus 34 in Labrador City, minus 6 in St. John's, Newfoundland. Here's a look at that wind chill across the Maritime region. There is a risk of frostbite into the morning for the northern region of New Brunswick, as well as across much of Labrador. And we are going to see these cool temperatures stick around, warming up just a bit into the afternoon for our daytime highs, but still remaining quite cold. Here's a look at that snow squall watch that remains in effect for parts of Newfoundland. We now have a cold warning, a snow squall warning, and a wind warning in effect. And for parts of Labrador, wind warning and cold warning remains as well. Here's a look at our satellite and radar. We are going to see sunshine for parts of Atlantic Canada early this morning as the sun begins to rise, but also seeing a bit of flurry activity tracking across parts of the region. In terms of the wind, it's going to be another breezy day ahead, 52 kilometers per hour for North Cape, 44 in Canso, 46 in Grand Etang, and 39 in Sydney. Wind gusts of up to 67 kilometers per hour in Canso, 61 in Grand Etang and North Cape, 57 into Sydney. We'll take a look at your long-range forecast just ahead, but first a look at your local news with Amanda.
Roughly 5,700 Nova Scotia Power customers are still waiting for their electricity to return this morning after they were knocked off the grid early Monday during a nor'easter.
As we get out and we get into the field to restore power, there are multiple trees on lines that have to be removed, and it takes multiple crews at each outage to restore power for our customers.
We had a day and a bit of commercial customers without power, so that's impacting, not just business operations, but employees, a lot of minimum wage employees.
Restoration times vary from this morning to late this afternoon. Some of the hardest hit areas include Bridgewater and Liverpool, where secondary roads are posing challenges. Bridgewater's mayor says better communication about response efforts from the utility is needed in the future. One person has died in an early morning fire outside of Chester, Nova Scotia. Crews responded to a property on Balsam Drive in Chester Grant around 6:25 Tuesday morning. They arrived to a camper trailer engulfed in flames. After the fire was out, they found the remains of an adult at the scene. The investigation is ongoing, but police don't expect to find anything criminal. There is more pressure in New Brunswick for a full-scale investigation into the most recent police-related death of an Indigenous person in the province. Green Party leader David Kuhn is calling for the RCMP commissioner to launch an investigation into how police respond to mental health and domestic dispute calls involving Indigenous people.
He's got a responsibility to really look at this, engage in the Indigenous community, and look at the training of RCMP officers.
On Sunday, Bronson Paul was shot and killed by police at a house on Nuguk First Nation. Premier Susan Holt has said her government would do its part for an investigation. And late Tuesday afternoon, PC leader Glenn Savoy released a statement expressing sympathy for the family, saying, "We must remain respectful as this process unfolds." The Nova Scotia-based Serious Incident Response Team is leading the investigation. The largest defense company in Canada is now Indigenous owned.
Having our company here in your city, in your province, this is going to lift Canada. First Nations people want this growth.
Indigenous-owned investment firm Flowing River Capital now owns 100% of Marshall Land Systems. The deal was made in November, but an event to mark the historic sale was held in Moncton Tuesday. The company builds containerized systems for militaries that can be used as command centers, ammunition storage depots, or medical labs. Marshall Land Systems has a $350 million deal with the Canadian Armed Forces and contracts with other NATO countries. Now to a new troubling snapshot about how Canadians feel about getting older. CTV's Maria Saru in Charlottetown highlights the struggles and the gaps in support for those in need.
Card slide and flip face down before the next hand of bridge hits the table. It's a familiar game for these folks, played with familiar faces. And for some seniors, it's a chance to mingle and make new friends.
If you're left on your own, what's there for you?
David Blackier mans this front desk one day a week, ticking off members' names as they arrive.
Build it in.
It's part of how he stays connected to his community here at the Seniors Active Living Center. The National Institute on Aging surveyed thousands of people 50 plus and found optimism about getting older fell from 62% in 2024 to 57% in 2025. Another 57% also reported experiencing loneliness, with 43% at risk of social isolation.
Social isolation is akin to the kind of outcomes we see with chronic disease. So it can really reduce somebody's ability to live a healthy, independent life.
The biggest barriers differ depending on the age group.
For the 50 to 64-year-olds, affordability was definitely the number one. For the older cohort of older adults, the 80 plus, the number one barrier was around health limitations.
That's why both affordability and accessibility mattered. And Blackier says a low-cost membership for the center helps.
We're providing something here that is very healthy for them. I've heard 90-year-olds and well into the 90-year-olds saying, oh my gosh, Dave, if we didn't have this, what would we do?
Experts say community-based seniors organizations like this center need more investment, with many relying on unsteady funding and volunteer support. Maria Saru, CTV News, Charlottetown.
Thank you, Maria. Nice to have a senior center like that one in Charlottetown to offer support for local seniors in their community.
Absolutely. It looks fantastic.
It looks like a fun time.
Yeah, exactly.
Good crew of people there.
Yeah. And speaking of seniors and fun times, we're getting a longer look at a new documentary on Paul McCartney's post-Beatles career.
1, 2, 3. The Beatles have been my whole life, really. When we split up, I thought, I'll never write another note of music ever. I had fear.
Yes, Paul McCartney, Man on the Run, covers the ups and downs of his life after the Beatles, the formation of his Wings, and his relationship with his late wife, Linda. The trailer features new clips of McCartney and archival footage. He also speaks of his strained relationship with John Lennon. Wow. Different John. The documentary starts streaming February 27th. He doesn't have a strained relationship with John Legend. Yeah. It's John Lennon.
Not married to Chrissy Teigen.
Not married to Chrissy Teigen.
Yeah, you're not the first person to say that, that's for sure.
A little tongue twister this morning.
Well, still ahead this half hour, we're going to have a look at your international news headlines. And right after the break, Latavia will have the latest look at the forecast. It is a cold one now, and it's just going to get colder. She'll have the details when we return.
Ooh, look at that. Good morning, Atlantic Canada. Welcome back and happy Wednesday. The time now is 7:12. We're taking a live look at Halifax, minus 12 degrees starting off your day, and the sun is beginning to rise. We are going to see sunshine for parts of Atlantic Canada today. Weather is brought to you by ALC.ca. Quite cold early this morning right across the region. As of right now, it is minus 18 degrees heading outdoors in Fredericton, minus 15 starting off your day in Charlottetown, minus 13 in Sydney, minus 23 degrees over in Happy Valley Goose Bay, minus 12 in Gander. Taking a look at Newfoundland, we do have a snow squall watch in effect for parts of this province. This morning until Thursday, we're looking at around 5 to 12 centimeters, potentially up to 25 within those snow squalls, wind gusts ranging from 70 to 80 kilometers per hour. A cold warning for tonight until Thursday morning, wind chill nearing minus 35. We do have a snow squall warning in effect until Thursday morning. We are expecting up to 25 centimeters within those snow squalls and a wind warning as well for this morning, looking at wind gusts between 80 to 100 kilometers per hour. A wind warning also in effect for parts of Labrador this morning until the evening, looking at wind gusts of 100 kilometers per hour. And a cold warning for this morning until the afternoon. Could see the wind chill nearing minus 45. So it is a cold start to the day right across Atlantic Canada. And we are seeing a bit of sunshine early this morning as well, not really helping to warm things up. But we are going to see a chance of some flurry activity as well for parts of Atlantic Canada. So into the afternoon, we see a chance of flurries return across parts of Nova Scotia. We are going to see flurry activity for parts of Newfoundland, taking us into tonight. Much of the same expected, but seeing that flurry activity transition over to periods of snow for Thursday's forecast, and then looking at snow and or rain across much of the region. In terms of our snowfall outlook from now until early Thursday morning, at around 1 to 5 centimeters of accumulation for parts of New Brunswick and Nova Scotia. Going to see around 5 to 15 centimeters for parts of Labrador, and then for Newfoundland, looking at 1 to 10 centimeters of accumulation. For our forecast today for New Brunswick, starting off the day with sunshine, seeing flurries arrive into the afternoon. Daytime highs will range from -9 to -3, wind gusts of 50. Prince Edward Island looking at highs between -8 to -7 degrees. Flurries start off the day, that will clear out, leaving sunshine. Wind gusts of 70 kilometers per hour expected. For Cape Breton, eastern Nova Scotia, highs between -8 to -3. Flurries start off the day, that will clear out, leaving mainly cloudy skies. And then for the rest of Nova Scotia, starting off the day with sunshine, seeing flurries return into the afternoon. Daytime highs between -4 to -1. Labrador City seeing lots of sunshine today with a high of -28, -5 degrees for St. John's, Newfoundland, looking at flurries expected throughout your day. So for Thursday's forecast, snow and or rain starts off the day in the Maritime region. Temperatures kind of warm up above the freezing mark for parts of the Maritimes, and then cools back down as we head towards Friday night. That's when that deep freeze is headed our way, and we are going to see flurry activity sticking around. That's a look at your weather forecast. We'll throw things over to Amanda.
U.S. President Donald Trump will deliver a speech today at the World Economic Forum. It comes a day after Trump renewed threats to Canada's sovereignty. CTV's Mike Lecouture has more on the taunt.
The original photo came from an August meeting between President Donald Trump and European leaders. It shows them in the Oval Office with a map of Russia and Ukraine in the background. A newly doctored version posted by President Trump shows a different type of expansionism. The new map has the stars and stripes painted over Greenland, Venezuela, and Canada.
He wants to be in control. He wants to manage. He wants to run the hemisphere and be a dictator.
Former Foreign Affairs Minister Lloyd Axworthy believes Canada needs to push back.
I think it's about time we showed a little sort of what the hell is going on, Mr. Trump? Would you stop this nonsense? Because if he's not confronted, then he will feel emboldened to go ahead.
Now, the Globe and Mail is reporting hypothetical responses to a U.S. military invasion are being modeled by the Canadian Armed Forces. However, the Foreign Affairs Minister would only speak broadly about national defense.
To always ensure that the defense and protection of our country is first and foremost on top of our list of priorities.
While not confirming the report, the Department of National Defense said in a statement it conducts analysis on a variety of scenarios, both real and hypothetical, to ensure readiness. Now, Trump has mused about taking over Canada for more than a year, but one of his former advisors downplayed the seriousness of that particular post.
But just in an interview that he did a few hours ago, he didn't say anything about the United States taking over Canada, and in fact referred to Canada's interest also in the Arctic. So I wouldn't be too concerned about that from the Canadian perspective.
Kellyanne Shaw says Trump is having a little fun with that post, but for many in Canada, it's serious.
CTV's Mike Lecouture reporting in Ottawa. Finance Minister François-Philippe Champagne says Canada has no plans to pay President Trump's $1 billion price tag to join the proposed Board of Peace.
There's a lot of details to be worked out, but one thing which is clear is that Canada is not going to pay if we were to join.
The board was a part of Trump's 20-point Gaza ceasefire plan. Trump is chair of the board and has sent invitations to multiple leaders, including Russia's Vladimir Putin, despite the ongoing war in Ukraine. And we'll take a quick break here on Your Morning Atlantic. When we return, we'll talk with Dalhousie University's Robert Hewish about the latest in international talks, especially when it comes to Greenland. That conversation coming up.
Welcome back. It is 7:21. The annual World Economic Forum is taking place right now in Davos, Switzerland. There are two things making headlines today: the reception that awaits Donald Trump when he arrives, and Mark Carney's speech yesterday saying the old world order is gone. Joining us now to try and make sense of the latest geopolitical can of worms is Robert Hewish, Associate Professor of International Development Studies at Dalhousie University. Good morning, Robert.
Good morning, Brianne.
All right, so before we get into the Greenland threat, let's chat briefly about the global attention on Mark Carney's keynote address the other day.
Yeah, so Carney absolutely blew it out of the water at Davos. This is a speech that'll be long remembered. I mean, this is a meeting of usually, kind of sleepy forum with CEOs and world leaders. And as the chair at Davos said, I don't recall a standing ovation before. And that's what Carney delivered. And his message about middle powers, which is what Canada is, very wealthy, not a lot of people. We have a large landmass that is semi-unprotected. His terms of going forward is say, look, we're now going to live in an era of bullies, and we do not appease bullies by continuing to comply with their latest demand or threat. And and Carney's message is that going forward, you do not show sovereignty by complying to a bully. You have to stand up for your own independence. And the way he sort of charted it out is that it's going to involve a lot of different partnerships and a lot of different alliances, even with countries that we might not agree with ideologically on issues of human rights or democracy. But in terms of a survival strategy for middle powers, that's what we can expect going further. And the European Union and other countries in the European Union, they loved it.
I mean, it's nice to see him taking a stand on that topic. But on to the other topic making news, big headlines. Another day, another threat from Donald Trump.
Yeah, I mean, we can now clearly define what the Trump model is of how you govern in a Trumpian style. And that is to just offend, overreach, commit to revenge. And then if there's a deal that starts to break out, go a little bit quiet and then wait for the next scandal to come up. So right now, with the bluster over Greenland, what's very curious about all of this is that Greenland, as a territory of Denmark, both the Danish government and Greenland's government have said, we actually don't have a problem with U.S. troops in Greenland. In fact, there's a base there that has been undergoing deep renovations for the past couple of years. Please come by, enjoy, see the Northern Lights, have a great time, and do what you need to do. But the threat to sovereignty is too far. It's one that goes beyond any sort of international bluster or bravado from Trump, and it's one that deeply offends a rules-based order that many countries rely on to protect sovereignty. So you've got some people like his vice chairman who advised Trump in his first term. It was IBM's vice chairman, Gary Cohn. He said, oh, Greenland will stay Greenland. Just relax and let things play out. Again, that's not how the world is responding to the U.S. right now. And no one's prepared to relax and let Trump's bravado just fuel our sails. There's going to be lines in sand. There's going to be definitions of what can and can't happen. And I think that we've seen a president who's had really reckless behavior in the last year. I mean, the guys attacked Venezuela, Nigeria, Iran, Iraq, Syria, Somalia, Yemen. And so if he starts this bravado for Greenland, a nation of just over 50,000 people, people are taking it very, very serious.
I mean, also, the night before last, Trump posted an image with a doctored map to social media. You'll note that the map shows Canada, Venezuela, and Greenland with the stars and stripes over them. Not a very subtle message. What's the rationale he's using there?
It's right to the very start. It's to offend, and it's to overreach, and it's to provoke an emotional reaction. I mean, Donald Trump does not govern from intelligence. He governs from instinct, and he governs from reaction. And it's really unfortunate that the American people in the world have to put up with that style of government and diplomacy. I don't think in recent world leadership anyone's gone to those extremes. But what's very interesting about the integration of Canada and the U.S., there's again, we're in an era of a lot of sovereignty demonstration right now, but there's something very interesting that's sort of lurking in the background, and this comes down to the U.S. 11th Airborne Division. Now that's a regiment out of or a division out of Alaska that's trained for forward operations in Arctic zones. So we've seen that Trump has said that this branch of the military needs to come to Minneapolis for crowd control after, of course, the shooting of Miss Good a couple of weeks ago. And of all the regiments to be deployed for there, all the divisions to be deployed, why this one that is trained in Arctic combat? So that's raised some speculation amongst military observers. But what's particularly interesting is that right now that division has a Canadian officer who's a visiting exchange officer who's in command of it. And that's going to be a really difficult spot for both countries to deal with if Trump starts giving moral orders, either to do quote unquote peacekeeping in Minneapolis or to stage that division for potential threat into Greenland. Right. The fact that we have a Canadian there on top, that Robert McBride, that will require some sort of military attaché and diplomacy between the two countries.
I mean, we could go on about this forever. There's so much insight. Thank you so much for taking the time today to talk to us, Robert.
Thanks, Brianne.
All right, stay with us. Your Morning Atlantic will be right back after this. Coming up in this half hour, mental health supports for children and youth. On this Bell Let's Talk today, we'll sit down with the IWK's head of psychiatry about this important topic and the resources available. That's just ahead in 15 minutes here on the Wednesday edition of Your Morning Atlantic. Hey, good morning, Atlantic Canada. It is 7:32, 8:02 if you're in Newfoundland and parts of Labrador. And welcome, just like that, 7:30.
Halfway
already
through the show.
Halfway through the show.
Time is flying by.
Flies by when you're having fun.
It certainly does. And it's Bell Let's Talk Day as well, too. So we'll be talking about the importance of mental health and the resources available for the youth and children in our region. And the IWK, it's a resource, you know, no one ever wants to go to the hospital.
Yes.
But it is the type of thing, if you have to go, you know you're going to be in good hands with the IWK.
Absolutely. And honestly, just talking about youth mental health is so important, right? And just giving them a safe space and letting them know that, you know, you're there to talk. So.
Exactly.
So definitely important. Also important is bundling up today because it's cold.
It is, yeah. It's quite a bite in the air early this morning. I'm just like grossed out.
Grossed out.
Here's a look at the deck. We are seeing sunshine early this morning across parts of Atlantic Canada, though. Not really helping to warm things up. But as Brianne mentioned, just layer up, you'll be just fine. Factor in the wind chill, though, it's going to feel a lot colder. As of right now, minus 18 degrees in Fredericton, minus 15 in Charlottetown, minus 13 degrees early this morning in Sydney, minus 12 in Halifax, minus 10 in St. Anthony. Here's a look at that wind chill. We do have a risk of frostbite into the northern region of New Brunswick, as well as across much of Labrador. So also keep that in mind. Layers are key today. We are going to see a snow squall watch currently in effect for parts of Newfoundland, as well as a cold warning, a snow squall warning, and a wind warning. Over to Labrador, we do have a wind warning in effect for parts of the province, as well as a cold warning. Here's a look at our satellite and radar. We are seeing sunshine early this morning across much of Atlantic Canada. Still seeing a few flurries early this morning as well. And then into the afternoon, the Maritimes will see flurries return, and that will take us into tonight as well. In terms of the wind, it is going to be a bit breezy for the Maritimes. As of right now, 46 kilometers per hour in North Cape, 44 into Grand Etang, 39 in Sydney. Wind gusts of up to 61 in North Cape, 52 in Sydney, 50 in Canso, 57 in Grand Etang. We'll take another look at your long-range forecast, but first a look at your local news with Amanda.
Thanks, Latavia. Roughly 5,700 Nova Scotia Power customers are still waiting for their electricity to return on this cold morning after they were knocked off the grid early Monday during a nor'easter.
As we get out and we get into the field to restore power, there are multiple trees on lines that have to be removed, and it takes multiple crews at each outage to restore power for our customers.
We had a day and a bit of commercial customers without power, so that's impacting, not just business operations, but employees, a lot of minimum wage employees.
Restoration times vary from late morning to late afternoon. Some of the hardest hit areas include Bridgewater and Liverpool, where secondary roads are posing challenges. Bridgewater's mayor says better communication about response efforts from the utility is needed. In Nova Scotia's Antigonish County, Mounties issued a public alert just after noon Tuesday for residents in the Pomket Forks area. The notice said 2 men believed to be armed abandoned a vehicle and fled on foot. Both were later arrested and the alert was canceled. Bell Canada says incidents of copper theft increased by about 30% last year, with parts of New Brunswick being a particular concern. The telecommunications company, which owns this television network, recorded more than 1,300 such incidents across the country last year, which impacted its infrastructure. Most of the thefts happened in Ontario, Quebec, and New Brunswick.
For the last 4 to 5 years, the Fredericton and rural areas around Fredericton or Mukdo Harvey have been real hot spots. Towards the end of 2025, unfortunately, we saw a real flare-up in, call it the Charlotte County area.
And you'll remember last week, RCMP charged 3 people in connection with copper thefts in southern New Brunswick. Police say they received a tip from the public, which led to a search warrant where about 250 pounds of copper wire was discovered alongside firearms and other weapons. Nova Scotians with disabilities will have more choice as to where and how they want to live. An innovative new program relies on neighbors to open their homes to provide support. It's an idea that's worked in other provinces.
We also know from other jurisdictions that when it does go well, that it can grow exponentially. I mean, in British Columbia supports far more people in home share than they do in any of their other residential support models.
Important to distinguish that this is a choice. So we aren't forcing, to reach a target, we're not going to force 500 people into home share.
The province is looking for providers who will be paid based on the individual's needs. Those who are interested are being urged to reach out. Finally, a rotting and rundown fish sauce plant has burdened people living in the Newfoundland town of St. Mary's for years. Here is CTV's Garrett Berry on how it went from a nuisance to an emergency.
Inside this crumbling building and its leaking massive vats, a foul mix of fermenting fish.
People say to me, it can't be that bad. I say to them, come over and live here for a month. You'll know what it's all about.
A thorn in the side of this town and its council for the past 25 years, when this fish sauce plant was first shut down by the Canada Food Inspection Agency. In the fall, there was finally some progress with the funding promise from the provincial government to gut and clean this property. But last Saturday, a windstorm ripped pieces away from the building and freed the odors to spread more easily throughout the community.
Now is a bit of an emergency. We have, she's totally exposed. We have the seawater. We only realized that the sea is coming in underneath the building too. So we don't want the building to break off and fall off into the beach, into the ocean.
The physical damage in this building is plain to see, but what my camera can't easily transmit is the smell in here. A putrid mix of garbage and fermenting fish. It's overwhelming to anyone who gets near.
And according to neighbors living near the plant, has been a nightmare.
They said an animal won't live near that, and no rat or no cat will go around it. We're breeding it now, 10 years. It's supposed to be good for us.
Environment Canada put a stop to a cleanup effort in 2016 that dumped the vats of sauce into the ocean. According to the mayor, federal testing revealed the substance was toxic to fish and wildlife. But he says no federal official ever told him the results of those tests. Residents here say there's been decades of inaction, so they're sick of talking about the plant. Even if provincial officials are now promising it really will be cleaned this time, locals say they'll believe it when it's gone. Garrett Berry, CTV News in St. Mary's, Newfoundland, Labrador.
A very brave Garrett Berry there. Often on the show when we have people cooking, we say, oh, we wish you could smell it. I think this is a time we're very grateful we don't have smell-o-vision.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes. Thanks, Garrett, for taking one for the team for us there. Okay, so fun fact, guys. It's the divisional playoff weekend, championship weekend this weekend. So we're going to see, obviously, some Seattle Seahawks. So buzzing ahead of this week's NFC Championship. Legend Walter Jones took part in a special flag raising at the city's Space Needle, hosting the number 12 flag above the city. Now, 12 is a special number for the team. That's because of how loud their fans are. It's like the team has a 12th man on the field, so that's why you always hear the 12th man. And yes, so the NFC Championship between Seattle and Los Angeles goes Sunday at 7:30 our time.
Okay.
And don't you worry, my Patriots are also playing against Denver, and I believe that game is at 3 o'clock our time. So
we know what you'll be doing this week.
Sunday, don't bother messaging me. Also, you should have seen me last weekend. I'm staying at Donna and JW's, and I was like, literally, I sat on like the edge of the couch, and we were doing well, and then I got off the couch, and Texas scored, and so I was like, well, guess I'm perched on the couch for the rest of this game.
Gotta stay on it.
Scared the cat away because I was like, yes!
All the animals are adjusting. Well, we want you to stay seated on this Wednesday because we have so much more ahead. Latavia has the latest look at the forecast. Also, it's Bell Let's Talk Day. We'll sit down with the IWK's Dr. Alexa Bagnell about mental health resources for children and youth. That's coming up next.
Good morning, Atlantic Canada. The time now is 7:44. We're taking a live look at a sunny start to the day over in St. John's. Currently -8 degrees in your area. We did have a few flurries, but it looks like it's already beginning to clear out. We do have a cold start to the day for much of Atlantic Canada. Something to keep in mind when you are heading out early this morning. It is -18 degrees as of right now in Fredericton. -12 in Halifax with -13 over in Sydney. -15 degrees starting off your day in Charlottetown with -23 over in Happy Valley Goose Bay and -12 over in Gander. Snow squall watch remains in effect for parts of Newfoundland this morning until Thursday. Could get up to 25 centimeters within those snow squalls and wind gusts between 70 to 80 kilometers per hour. A cold warning also in effect for parts of Newfoundland tonight until Thursday morning. The wind chill could near -35. A snow squall warning also in effect with a wind warning. Wind gusts between 80 to 100 kilometers per hour. For Labrador, looking at a wind warning as well. Could see gusts of up to 100 and a cold warning for this morning until the afternoon. Wind chill nearing -45. So we do have sunshine early this morning for parts of Atlantic Canada. Also seeing a bit of flurry activity starting off your day for parts of Cape Breton Island, as well as into Newfoundland, parts of Labrador. Then into the afternoon, we do have a chance of flurries returning to parts of the Maritime region, specifically into parts of New Brunswick and mainland Nova Scotia. That will take us into tonight, where we do have another low taking place, bringing periods of snow back around into Thursday's forecast. We are going to see snow and or rain move in. If you're wondering about snowfall totals, at around 1 to 5 centimeters of accumulation for parts of New Brunswick and Nova Scotia. Seeing a bit more in Labrador at around 5 to 15 centimeters and 1 to 10 into parts of Newfoundland. In terms of our forecast today for New Brunswick, starting off the day with sunshine, then seeing flurries arrive into the afternoon, wind gusts of 50. Daytime highs ranging from -9 to -3 degrees. Prince Edward Island looking at highs between -8 to -7. We do have flurries starting off your day. That will clear out, leaving a mix of sun and cloud. Wind gusts of 70 kilometers per hour. And then for Cape Breton, eastern Nova Scotia, starting off the day with flurries that will clearly be mainly cloudy skies. Highs between -8 to -3. For the rest of Nova Scotia, looking at sunshine starting off your day, a few flurries returning into the afternoon with highs between -4 to -1. Lots of sunshine over in Labrador City today with a high of -28 degrees. -5 into St. John's, Newfoundland. We do have flurries starting off your day, but then clearing out, leaving a mix of sun and cloud. Thursday's forecast, temperatures will rise above the freezing mark for parts of the Maritime region. We are going to see snow and or rain track across the Maritimes first, making its way over to Newfoundland and Labrador. Into Friday's forecast, another cooler day ahead. We are going to see some sunshine, but flurries are going to return yet again. Temperatures really beginning to cool down. That deep freeze headed our way into Friday night, Brianne.
Well, thank you for that, Latavia. Bell Let's Talk Day is today, and this year's theme is taking a moment for our mental health. So here to talk about the importance of our children and teens' mental health, we welcome back Dr. Alexa Bagnall, the Chief Psychiatrist of the IWK. Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
I mean, it's always a pleasure to have you here and welcoming us and giving us some great advice. So when it comes to youth or family with the IWK health and mental health support, what is the journey looking like for most?
Yeah, a lot of people don't know what the journey looks like, and we've made it really, really easy in our province. So there's one number to call. I actually remember it too, so it's pretty easy to remember. So it's 1-855-922-1122. And that gets you in the province to an access navigator. And they help figure out what's the best match for you in service. So it's a really cool one-stop so that, you know, youth can call, it's a self-referral, families can call, and even providers. So it's a really good way to make sure that help is really accessible.
And all-encompassing.
All-encompassing. It's actually all age groups, but we have a youth-specific. Once you find out you're a youth, we match you to a youth service.
Amazing. And then can you walk us through the range of supports that may be available depending on their needs?
Yeah, so across the province, we have community clinics, mental health clinics that give supports to youth and families across our province, and we have those in Halifax as well that are under the IWK. We have emergency services if that's needed in a crisis. We have inpatient services. Some youth do need to come into hospital for care. We have intensive services, even coming into your home and helping support families. And we have new services that are called Anchor Youth Space across our province, led by our community organizations. And they are low barrier access. You can walk in as a youth from 12 to 25 years of age. So it's a really broad range. Right now we have 3 open in our province. We have one in Amherst, one in Sydney, and one in North End Halifax. Okay. So amazing range of services.
Absolutely. And so you talked about the phone number. How does the process start other than making that initial call?
Yeah, when you make the initial call, say you're a youth, you'll meet with a person on the phone, and you can even book that actually a time to talk to them online. And I should mention we have evening hours and weekend hours too. And that person asks some questions, and it's really about what's going on in their life, how is the mental health problem interfering, and what are they looking for help? And then they get matched to a person to talk to.
Amazing. So all-encompassing in that sense. In 2025, we saw the launch of the first 3 of those sites. What has the response been?
Amazing. Yeah, our community organizations that are leading our Anchor Youth Space sites are really inspiring. And the spaces that have been created with youth and caregivers, you walk into those spaces, they're totally different. You can tell youth have been a big part of it, and they're really welcoming. There's all sorts of services under one roof that the community organizations have put together. And so to name them would be very hard, but they're all youth-specific, and we've really seen a huge uptake. We actually monitor how many youth are using the services, and it's been like this.
Oh, wow.
It's fantastic. So we're really excited about them, and we have 5 more opening, 3 more this year.
Amazing. Such great work.
Yeah.
For Bell Let's Talk Day, there's a focus on breaking down the stigma from your perspective. What's the thing you want families who know about seeking support?
I think the one thing I'd like people to know, it really fits with Bell Let's Talk Day, Take a Moment, is how important it is to look after your mental health. And that mental health and physical health, they're intertwined. So really looking after your mental health, thinking about it, and reaching out for help. Help really works. And we have a lot of great help in our province. We're really fortunate. So to please reach out.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for all you do and for taking the time to chat with us today about that.
Thanks so much for having me.
And so for more on health and medical news, we'll head over to Amanda.
Thanks, you too. A new survey suggests optimism about aging fell sharply over the last year, with financial insecurity and loneliness dampening how many Canadians feel about their golden years. It is one of the topics in your health. The National Institute on Aging surveyed just over 6,000 adults aged 50 and older last summer for its 4th annual report of perspectives on growing older. While 57% of respondents still said they had positive feelings about aging, that was down from 62% the year prior. The latest findings show that older adults increasingly can't afford to retire when they'd hoped to. They're feeling at risk of social isolation, and 59% said they are lonely. A new study shows the mental health of people in Toronto has deteriorated rapidly over the past decade, to the point where one expert calls it unprecedented. A report was released by Thrive TO in partnership with the Canadian Mental Health Association, CAMH, and the City of Toronto. It found the percentage of Torontonians who describe their mental health as very good or excellent fell from 73% in 2015 to 52% in 2022. 55% of those surveyed said the pandemic had a moderate to extremely negative impact on their mental health. Wednesday is Bell Let's Talk Day. Finally, a year after becoming one of the world's first recipients of a genetically modified pig kidney, a New Hampshire man now has a human kidney. Tim Andrews was living with diabetes and end-stage kidney disease when he received it early last year. The 67-year-old lived with the pig kidney for 271 days before his body rejected the organ. It was removed in October, and Andrews went back on dialysis. On January 12th, a near-perfect match for a human kidney donor was found, and Andrews went into transplant surgery the following day. He's now recovering from the procedure. Medical experts say organs from animals may be the answer to keeping people alive and healthy while they wait for a human donor.
We just have one milestone to pass along for you today. It is a 60th anniversary for Dawn and Betty Blaine of Dartmouth.
Oh, congratulations, you two. Great photo. I love the colors. Of course, to see your milestone again or to find out how to submit one, visit our website by scanning the QR code on your screen. And a reminder that milestones must be received 2 weeks in advance.
Well, speaking of love, what started out as a little Instagram crush has turned into a full-blown transatlantic romance.
Yes, he's a musician, she's a comedian, and now the whole world is rooting for them. ABC's Danny New has the story.
Am I now about to fly across the world to meet him for the first time? Yep. Yeah, I am.
A relationship that started with an Instagram message from across the world has now turned into an internet obsession.
The comments are crazy sometimes.
Yeah.
I mean, people are just like, have you moved to Ireland yet?
Irish man DMs me, I respond. I go to Ireland, I fall in love with them, because what else am I supposed to do?
Actress and comedian Teresa Rowley of Texas received a message from musician Sean Rooney of Ireland around spring of last year.
He said something that was very Irish, and so I checked his account and I thought, oh, he's pretty cute and he's Irish.
She says it was a slow burn at first, but soon they were talking for hours every day. And Teresa was ready to take a leap of faith across the Atlantic. That is, however, once he FaceTimed with her mother and she got a friend to come with her.
It helps. It helps. It's not foolproof, but, you know, maybe I'm a fool.
Fool in love.
Hey!
Clearly, the first meeting went well. And since then, her video about that inaugural trip has picked up millions of views on social media. One commenter writing, "You realize by posting this, you've invited all of us to the wedding, right?" Sean has also now visited Texas, making stops at Buc-ee's and a cowboy hat fitting. Although...
He says, what's queso?
His lack of knowledge about Tex-Mex did shock Teresa.
We've talked to WFAA, and now we're in the Washington Post.
And while they say yes, all this attention has led to questions about whether one of them will move across the world for the other, they say that discussion has commenced.
Do we have the answers to it? No, not yet, you know, but I think that's okay.
For the record, Sean and Teresa said that they were always asked what was that first message he sent her, but they feel at least that part of their relationship should have the right to remain private. In New York, for ABC News, I'm Danny New.
All right, now we're going to take a look at our 3-day forecast. A high of -8 degrees today for New Brunswick. We are going to see a bit of sunshine, but also isolated flurries into the afternoon. Transitions over to snow into the evening. On Thursday, -2 degrees. We do have flurries sticking around, transitioning over to snow. And then on Friday, sunny skies with a high of -5. For Nova Scotia, -6 degrees today. Flurries also seeing sunshine, though. Snow into the evening. Snow and or rain across the province on Thursday with a high of 5 degrees. Cooling back down on Friday, -2 with a mix of sun and cloud. Flurries yet again into the evening. Prince Edward Island looking at sunshine, but also flurry activity. Snow into the evening, a high of -8. 2 degrees on Thursday, snow and or rain across the island. Sunshine returns on Friday, a high of -5.
Coming up in the Move Morning Chat, we're asking, what was your least favorite household chore when you were a kid? There's still time to text your answers. 10400 is the number. We'll have a roundup a little later in the show, and I gotta tell you, one of them is pretty gross. Hope they don't do it as an adult anymore. That's just ahead on Your Morning Atlantic. And handbags for hospice. They're just one part of the Feeling the Love Gala in support of Hospice Halifax. We'll get all the fashionable details and head to their new location. That's still ahead here on the Wednesday edition of Your Morning Atlantic.
Morning Atlantic, Canada. It is 8:02, 8:32 if you are in Newfoundland and parts of Labrador. And I'm still getting used to this show. I'm like, who's talking? Who's next? What am I doing? Where am I going?
Who am I?
First? Yeah, exactly.
What's on second?
I don't know. It's on third.
That's a joke that'll never get old.
It's so true. I love a good dad joke too.
Oh my goodness, yeah, Amanda's full of them.
I know.
Always gets me every time.
She's punny. She's very punny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's for us?
Yeah, I saw a new one yesterday.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh wait, Vicky, we're out of time. That's what she's saying. I don't want to mess it up though. Okay, what's a duck's favorite dog? A purebred.
It's like a duck toy.
I was gonna say a duck toy.
Oh, a duck toy would be cute too.
I was like, it can't be that obvious.
We share one brain, clearly.
Oh gosh, that would be a good one too.
They're my favorite.
Do you want more
too.
duck ones or no?
Yeah.
Yeah, give us another one.
Duck.
Why do ducks wear feathers or have feathers? Cover their butt quacks.
Butt quack.
And now we're out of time.
All right.
Are there any?
Yeah, a 5-year-old told me that joke.
Of course, a 5-year-old told you
Yeah.
that joke. That's not surprising.
It's a great joke.
Are there any ducks out and about today?
I don't know. Do ducks usually stay outdoors in the winter? Not
Are ducks birds?
Or
Oh,
birdologist, I don't know. Okay, taking a live look at Lunenburg. -6 degrees starting off your day. We do have sunshine early this morning, as you can see here. Beautiful sunrise. And sunshine is sticking around for parts of Atlantic Canada early this morning, but it is quite cold across the region. As of right now, it is -8 degrees in St. John's, Newfoundland, -18 in Fredericton, -12 in Halifax, -13 in Sydney, -15 in Charlottetown. Factor in that wind chill. We do have a risk of frostbite for the northern region of New Brunswick this morning, as well as in much of Labrador. We're looking at that wind chill as well, with that risk of frostbite. Quite cold early this morning. A snow squall watch also in effect for parts of Newfoundland until Thursday, with a cold warning now in effect, a snow squall warning, and a wind warning. Across Labrador, looking at a wind warning as well as a cold warning remaining in effect. Here's a look at our satellite and radar. Sunshine early this morning, but also seeing a bit of flurry activity early in the morning as well. Then into the afternoon, other parts of the Maritime region will see flurries return, and we will be getting a bit of a breezy wind for parts of the Maritime region. As of right now, 46 kilometers per hour for sustained wind in North Cape, 44 in Grand Detang, with 39 in Sydney. Wind gusts of up to 61 kilometers per hour in North Cape, 57 in Grand Detang, 52 in Sydney. We'll take another look at your long-range forecast, but first a look at your local news with Amanda.
Thanks, Latavia. And we continue with coverage of the power outages. Right now, more than 5,000 Nova Scotia power customers are still waiting for their electricity to return this morning after they were knocked off the grid early Monday during a nor'easter.
As we get out and we get into the field to restore power, there are multiple trees on lines that have to be removed, and it takes multiple crews at each outage to restore power for our customers.
We had a day and a bit of commercial customers without power, so that's impacting, not just business operations, but employees, a lot of minimum wage employees.
Restoration times vary from late morning to late afternoon, and some of the hardest hit areas include Bridgewater and Liverpool, where secondary roads are posing challenges for power crews. Bridgewater's mayor says better communication about response efforts from the utility is needed in the future. A Nova Scotia man is facing charges after a senior was assaulted in an apartment in Truro just before midnight Monday. Police say they received a number of calls about the incident, and the 79-year-old victim was treated for serious injuries. The 48-year-old is accused of aggravated assault, assault with a weapon, and damage to property. Investigators say both men know each other and the incident was not random. There is more pressure in New Brunswick for a full-scale investigation into the most recent police-related death of an Indigenous person in the province. Green Party leader David Kuhn is calling for the RCMP commissioner to launch an investigation into how police respond to mental health and domestic dispute calls involving Indigenous people.
He's got a responsibility to really look at this, engage in the Indigenous community, and look at the training of RCMP officers.
On Sunday, Bronson Paul was shot and killed by police at a house on Nuguk First Nation. Premier Susan Holt has said her government would do its part for an investigation. And late Tuesday afternoon, PC leader Glenn Savoy released a statement expressing sympathy for the family, saying, "We must remain respectful as this process unfolds." The Nova Scotia-based Serious Incident Response Team is leading the investigation. Turns out all the precipitation we've seen in recent weeks has helped alleviate those drought conditions we experienced last summer. Halifax water was especially hard hit, prompting mandatory water conservation measures. And while one source is back to normal, another is not.
Pockwalk Lake is still low. It's approximately 4 feet from being full.
With the rain falling on frozen ground, a lot of it ends up in the rivers and then ultimately flows out to the ocean. So while we're capturing what we can in our ponds and our reservoirs, there is a lot of loss there that it doesn't absorb all entirely into the soil.
Farmers say they would like to see more snowfall and a nice slow melt in the spring. The largest defense company in Canada is now Indigenous owned.
Having our company here in your city, in your province, this is going to lift Canada. First Nations people want this growth.
Indigenous-owned investment firm Flowing River Capital now owns 100% of Marshall Land Systems. The deal was made in November, but an event to mark the historic sale was held in Moncton on Tuesday. The company builds containerized systems for militaries that can be used as command centers, ammunition storage depots, or medical labs. Marshall Land Systems has a $350 million deal with the Canadian Armed Forces and contracts with other NATO countries. Finally, potholes are proving to be a big problem on Halifax roadways right now.
As of data from last week, I believe there were 235 potholes, or reports of potholes in the municipality, and that is an increase from last year.
If you get lucky, you hit a bad pothole and it's just like a tire or something like that, that will just run you like $100, $150. If you need your rim and your tire replaced, that could be upwards of $300 or $400. But in the worst cases where it takes out suspension components, you're looking at probably over $1,000.
Yeah, that's according to Evan Chasaw, the owner of Nova Wheels and Deals. Now, the city says the surplus of potholes is due to swings in temperature, and it is resulting in a lot of work for local crews and also mechanics. Now, as it stands, the city of Halifax services potholes on a priority basis, though in the wintertime, they can only apply a temporary fix, of course.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But do you ever hit a pothole? You feel it in your bones.
I hit two this morning.
Two this morning?
Just catch you by surprise, especially if it's dark out.
Yeah, and I was like out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And you're just like, you do that every single time. You're like, please don't pop the tire. Please don't pop the tire.
Yeah, please be fine.
in Winnipeg, there's one road, it's Saskatchewan Street, which makes sense. It's like there's more potholes than road on them. I went down it with my work truck once and I was like, oh my gosh, they're gonna kill me. I'm gonna blow a tire. And I was just like trying to dodge everything and it was just like not even possible.
Wow, and the car was fine?
Yeah, because I drove very slow.
Yeah.
Very slow.
Anyways, speaking of Saskatchewan, a 70-year-old Saskatoon runner is celebrating a new Canadian record.
She didn't just set it, she destroyed the record by 8 seconds.
So when I turned 70 and I started looking at records, I thought, oh yeah, I think I can get that one.
Lynn Warwick Epp ran the indoor mile in 7 minutes, 12.28 seconds, setting a national record for women in the 70 age category. The previous record was set by an Ontario runner in 2007. And while most people dread getting older, Warwick Epp was actually counting down to her 70th birthday because she wanted to race in the new age group. Isn't that amazing?
Oh, yeah.
She says running has carried her through some of life's toughest times and is encouraging people to find what moves them. So very fitting with our Bell Let's Talk Day theme of you got to find something you love to do.
Absolutely. We all basically said fitness, too. Yeah. Moving your body really helps your mental.
Yeah, obviously.
Big time. That's goals right there.
That is goals, yes.
Wow. I know some people also can't wait if they want to try to qualify for Boston. They wait till they're in the older age group. Like, please just give me like an extra 5 minutes, please.
Fair enough. Yes, marathon running.
Duh.
Yeah. So we have a great new contest to tell you about now. CTV, along with our partners at Kent Building Supplies, want you to enter the Kent Big Bucket giveaway. So once a month, we'll reveal a different prize in the bucket and give you a chance to win it. This month, the winner chooses between a Frigidaire induction range with a built-in pizza oven or a Frigidaire electric range with a built-in pizza oven. So depending on your style, this is a good choice to have. To enter, head to ctvatlantic.ca. The contest closes this Saturday and we'll announce the winner on Friday, January 30th. Good luck.
Welcome back. The time now is 8:15. We're taking a live look at Charlottetown, minus 15 degrees starting off your day. We have sunshine as well. We are going to see sunshine sticking around for much of the region, but it is quite cold early this morning. Weather is brought to you by ALC.ca. As of right now, minus 19 degrees as you head outdoors in Fredericton, minus 11 in Halifax with minus 13 degrees early this morning in Sydney, minus 35 starting off your day in Labrador City, and minus 9 into St. John's, Newfoundland. We do still have snow squall watches in effect for parts of Newfoundland for this morning until Thursday. Could see up to 25 centimeters within those snow squalls, wind gusts ranging from 70 to 80 kilometers per hour. A cold warning also in effect tonight until Thursday morning. The wind chill could near minus 35. Then we have a snow squall warning in effect and a wind warning as well. We're looking at wind gusts between 80 to 100 kilometers per hour. For Labrador, a wind warning with wind gusts of 100 kilometers per hour until this evening and a cold warning in effect looking until this afternoon with the wind chill nearing minus 45. So it is quite cold right across Atlantic Canada. We are seeing sunshine early this morning, but a bit of flurry activity as well across parts of New Brunswick, Cape Breton Island, and parts of Labrador. Into the afternoon, we will be seeing increasing chance of flurries, still around a 30% chance of it happening, and that will take us into this evening. Temperatures really cooling down yet again, and we are going to see periods of snow move in as we see snow and or rain in Thursday's forecast. If you're wondering about snowfall totals, we're looking at around 1 to 5 centimeters of accumulation across New Brunswick and parts of Nova Scotia and Prince Edward Island, and then looking at around 5 to 15 centimeters across parts of Labrador. For Newfoundland, 1 to 10. In our forecast today for New Brunswick, looking at sunshine starting off your day and then flurries arriving into the afternoon. Highs between minus 9 to minus 3 and wind gusts of 50 kilometers per hour. For Prince Edward Island, looking at flurries clearing, leaving a mix of sun and cloud as well. Wind gusts getting up to 70 kilometers per hour and highs between minus 8 to minus 7. Cape Breton, eastern Nova Scotia, highs between minus 8 to minus 3. Flurries also starting off your day will clear, leaving mainly cloudy skies. And then for the rest of Nova Scotia, sunshine starts off your day. We do have isolated flurries returning into the afternoon with highs between minus 4 to minus 1. For Labrador City, lots of sunshine throughout your day. We do have a cold daytime high of minus 28 degrees. Minus 6 into St. John's, Newfoundland. Flurries will clear, leaving sunshine for you as well. Thursday's forecast, snow and or rain for much of the Maritime region. We will be seeing temperatures warm up for parts of the Maritime region above the freezing mark before cooling back down into Thursday night. We are going to see on Friday some sunshine as well. Flurries return into the evening and temperatures cooling right back down. A deep freeze headed our way. That's a look at your weather forecast. We'll throw things over to Amanda.
Thanks, Latavia. The Prime Minister presented his starkest assessment yet about the state of the world and Canada's place in it. Mark Carney sharply criticized Donald Trump without mentioning him and issued this global call to action at Davos.
The middle powers must act together because if we're not at the table, we're on the menu. The powerful have their power. But we have something too. The capacity to stop pretending, to name reality, to build our strength at home, and to act together.
With more on what else Mark Carney said and the reaction, here's CTV's Annie Bergeron-Oliver.
Nestled in the usually calm mountains of the ski town Davos, a chaotic meeting of hundreds of politicians and top business leaders at the World Economic Forum that this year Prime Minister Mark Carney used to deliver a frank message about the future.
The old order is not coming back. We shouldn't mourn it. Nostalgia is not a strategy. But we believe that from the fracture, we can build something bigger, better, stronger, more just.
Carney declared the U.S.-led world order dead and said countries must turn inward now that it's clear integration can lead to subordination.
Call it what it is, a system of intensifying great power rivalry where the most powerful pursue their interests using economic integration as coercion.
Withstanding those economic shocks, the Prime Minister said will require like-minded countries to pivot, to work together to hedge uncertainty. While Trump's name was never mentioned, Carney did call on middle powers like Canada to push back against domination by great powers, using tariffs as leverage and supply chains as vulnerabilities to be exploited.
In a world of great power rivalry, the countries in between have a choice. Compete with each other for favor, or to combine to create a third path with impact.
The message receiving what organizers described as a rare standing ovation at a summit where geopolitics and the future of Greenland is looming large.
Our commitment to NATO's Article 5 is unwavering. Canada strongly opposes tariffs over Greenland and calls for focused talks to achieve our shared objectives of security and prosperity in the Arctic.
CTV's Annie Bergeron-Oliver reporting in Davos. A quick break here on Your Morning Atlantic. When we return, do you have an old bag that's hanging around your closet that you're not using anymore? Well, you could help with this cause. We'll have the details on handbags for hospice next.
Move Mornings with Aaron and Peter. Weekday mornings on Move 100. The most fun in the morning. And home of the $1,000 minute. Only on Move 100 Halifax.
Handbags for Hospice is a long-standing tradition of Feeling the Love Gala, and that is in support of Hospice Halifax, our partners. Joining us this morning, we're at Encore, and we have Nancy Reagan, the Gala Ambassador, or MC, I should say, and we also have Tasha Keith, a volunteer and ambassador for Hospice Halifax. Good morning, ladies.
Good morning, and we are feeling the love, Latavia. It's all about the love here.
We absolutely are. Thank you so much. Okay, let's start off with the store that we're actually in. This is incredible, and it also supports Hospice Halifax. Tell us about it.
Welcome to Encore. This is the brand new location of this thrift shop. It's a full-on fundraiser for Hospice Halifax. All proceeds go to compassionate end-of-life care that Hospice Halifax provides to Nova Scotians, also community grief counseling, and it's just a no-lose. First of all, they have fantastic stuff. It's been hard for us getting ready because we keep going, oh, that's really nice. No, focus. But you can shop here, you can look good, but you can also do good by supporting hospice.
I love that, especially I love shopping, so supporting a good cause is exactly what I need to do, right up my alley. So Handbags for Hospice is going to be taking place. Can you tell us more about it?
Yeah, so you can drop the handbags off by January 31st here at 2748 King Street, which is in the new Richmond Yards. It's right across from the Shoppers Drug Mart on Almond Street. And the auction opens up on February 7th, and make sure you get your bid in by 10 p.m. on the 14th of February when the winners will be announced.
Oh my goodness, it sounds like a dream auction.
Already that you can see back there,
right?
So it's a lot of fun.
Okay, and when it comes to Feeling the Love Gala, you will be emceeing. Can you tell us a little bit more about the gala and what takes place?
This is my favorite event of the year, not just because it draws awareness and also brings in funds for Hospice Halifax, but because it really is about love. The whole thing is surrounded by love. And you know, when we talk about handbags, first of all, I love the fact that even if you're not smart enough to come to Feeling the Love as an event, you can still take part in this online auction. And as Tasha said, the bidding starts, it opens on the 7th of February. So you've got a whole week until the 14th at 10 p.m. at the event. That's when it closes. And we are getting these, what we're looking for is not just any handbags. I'm gonna say we're pretty fussy. We're looking for luxury, high-end handbags that are gently used. So it's going to be new to someone else. And that is really, I think, a lovely piece because it's sort of, it's environmentally friendly for one thing. And it also has a feature of handing on energy. And Tasha has a lovely way of looking at that.
You know, we're asking, you know, why, you know, what is the connection there? So if you think about your handbag, it's very personal. It kind of shows a bit of your personality. It's kind of a side character of your story. And when you donate that bag and somebody else takes it home from auction, it's really continuing on that story. My husband passed away at Hospice Halifax in October of 2023, and I can tell you firsthand the care that has been received there. But there's a lot of parallels in what I just said about the purses because really every day we are part of the journey of individuals going through the last phase of their story, but not only them, but also their families that we're supporting as they continue to ensure that story lives on.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So this is sounds like such an incredible event to take place, as well as the auction itself. So for anyone who's looking to get tickets, where can they head to?
They can go to Hospice Halifax's website. If you search who actually uses an address these days.
Yeah,
If
for real.
you Google Hospice Halifax, you'll find the website and you'll be able to find tickets to Feeling the Love. And I want to say, if you don't mind, Latavia, I'd love to say thank you to you for coming, but we also want to say thank you to our sponsors without whom we could not do this. We've got Charm Diamond Centers, we've got Ocean Contracting, and also Richmond Yards, who have been phenomenal by supporting us and being in this beautiful space. Make sure you come to Encore.
Absolutely, and Feeling the Love is perfect for the month of February. Hopefully some partners or spouses get their hands on some of these handbags as well.
What she said.
Still ahead this morning, could your day use more micro breaks? If the answer is yes, then you've come to the right place. We'll sit down with a wellness company founder about the benefits of a mini reset and the role scents can play. That's just ahead here in the last 30 minutes of your Morning Atlantic.
Good morning, Atlantic, Canada. It is 8:31, 9:01 if you're in Newfoundland and parts of Labrador. And just like that, we're in our last half hour. Magic.
So done. Looking forward to our last segment as well, talking about mini breaks. Maybe that's something, a New Year resolution you were thinking about, right?
Yeah.
Or even just doing an assessment that you need a little bit of a break.
Or something new to learn.
That's so true. Oh, gosh, and also, Latavia, when you were doing that handbag segment, I was shopping with my eyes.
Yeah, I was shopping. I bought a leather coat after the segment. I was looking and eyeing those handbags. Unfortunately, I couldn't bid on any as of yet.
Yeah.
But February 7th, I think that's when you can start. So I'll be right on that.
I know that pink Valentino bag has my name written on it.
I was like,
so.
Would you like me to hold
price?
this?
No.
Maybe. But they also have wonderful, it's a great also excuse just to visit Encore. It used to be known as Hospice Halifax. What did they, Compassionate Closet, that used to be their old name.
I've heard of that before.
Yes, they used to be in Lower Sackville, and this is their new location. So it's near all those new developments just off Roby Street, which is near our station. That's convenient.
I know.
You're,
Zip on over.
Just a little
Support
if
a
you're
good
gonna walk
cause.
though, keep in mind it's cold.
Okay.
Yeah.
So bundle up.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't walk in heels.
No.
Okay.
And it's a bit breezy too, so that's factoring in on top of the wind chill. So it's a whole thing.
It's a,
it's a whole thing outdoors.
That weather is a whole thing right now.
It is quite cold, especially in Fredericton, starting off your day minus 19 degrees. We can see it's sunny early this morning. We are going to see sunshine across parts of Atlantic Canada, but temperatures remaining quite cold early in the morning. Minus 15 degrees in Charlottetown, minus 11 in Halifax, minus 13 starting off your day in Sydney, minus 16 degrees in Cartwright, and minus 12 in Corner Brook. Factor in that wind chill, there is a risk of frostbite this morning into the northern region of New Brunswick, as well as across Labrador. And we are going to see temperatures rise a little bit, but still remaining on the colder side of things. In terms of the snow squall watch, it remains in effect for parts of Newfoundland. We do now have a cold warning, a snow squall warning, and a wind warning in effect. For Labrador, a wind warning and a cold warning remains as well. In terms of our satellite and radar, sunshine early in the morning, but also seeing flurries track across parts of the region and a bit of a breezy wind for the Maritimes. As of right now, 48 kilometers per hour in North Cape, 41 in Grand Detang, 44 in Canso, 37 into Sydney. Wind gusts of up to 59 kilometers per hour in North Cape, 57 in Canso, 54 in Sydney. We'll take one last look at your long-range forecast, but first, one last look at your local news with Amanda.
Thank you, Latavia. Roughly 5,100 Nova Scotia Power customers still waiting for their electricity to return this morning after they were knocked off the grid early Monday during a nor'easter.
As we get out and we get into the field to restore power, there are multiple trees on lines that have to be removed, and it takes multiple crews at each outage to restore power for our customers.
We had a day and a bit of commercial customers without power, so that's impacting, not just business operations, but employees, a lot of minimum wage employees.
Now, restoration times vary from later this morning to the afternoon. Some of the hardest hit areas include Bridgewater and Liverpool, where secondary roads are posing challenges for crews. Bridgewater's mayor says better communication about response efforts from Nova Scotia Power is needed in the future. There's more pressure in New Brunswick for a full-scale investigation into the most recent police-related death of an Indigenous person in the province. Green Party leader David Kuhn is calling for the RCMP commissioner to launch an investigation into how police respond to mental health and domestic dispute calls involving Indigenous people.
He's got a responsibility to really look at this, engage in the Indigenous community, and look at the training of RCMP officers.
On Sunday, Bronson Paul was shot and killed by police at a house on Nuguktukuk First Nation. Premier Susan Holt has said her government would do its part for an investigation. And late Tuesday afternoon, PC leader Glenn Savoy released a statement expressing sympathy for the family, saying we must remain respectful as this process unfolds. The Nova Scotia-based Serious Incident Response Team is leading the investigation. Bell Canada says incidents of copper theft increased by about 30% last year, with parts of New Brunswick being a particular concern. The telecommunications company, which owns this television network, recorded more than 1,300 such incidents across the country last year, which impacted its infrastructure. Most of the thefts happened in Ontario, Quebec, and New Brunswick.
For the last 4 to 5 years, the Fredericton and rural areas around Fredericton or Amukto Harvey have been real hot spots. Towards the end of 2025, unfortunately, we saw a real flare-up in, call it the Charlotte County area.
Last week, RCMP charged 3 people in connection with copper thefts in southern New Brunswick. Police say they received a tip from the public, which led to a search warrant where about 250 pounds of copper wire was discovered, alongside firearms and other weapons. Nova Scotians living with disabilities will have more choice as to where and how they want to live. An innovative new program relies on neighbors to open their homes to provide support. It's an idea that's worked in other provinces.
We also know from other jurisdictions that when it does go well, that it can grow exponentially. I mean, British Columbia supports far more people in home share than they do in any of their other residential support models.
Important to distinguish that this is a choice. So we aren't forcing, to reach a target, we're not going to force 500 people into home share.
The province is looking for providers who will be paid based on the individual's needs. Those who are interested are being urged to reach out. The largest defense company in Canada is now Indigenous owned.
Having our company here in your city, in your province, this is going to lift Canada. First Nations people want this growth.
Indigenous-owned investment firm Flowing River Capital now owns 100% of Marshall Land Systems. The deal was made in November, but an event to mark the historic sale was held in Moncton yesterday. The company builds containerized systems for militaries that can be used as command centers, ammunition storage depots, or medical labs. Marshall Land Systems has a $350 million deal with the Canadian Armed Forces and contracts with other NATO countries. Finally, the Northern Lights were on display over the Atlantic Canada again last night, and we have some new photos to show you this morning, courtesy of our viewers who sent in a text at 10400 from Codroy Valley, Newfoundland. This photo is from our viewer, Christine Thomas, capturing this image overnight in Doyle's. Doesn't that look nice?
That's beautiful.
Stunning. And she's not the only one who sent us a text. So from Newfoundland to New Brunswick, Larry Ford from Barony, New Brunswick snapped this picture of the Northern Lights last night. He says, I should add, they're still pulsing this morning at this time. He had texted much earlier in the morning. Not near as spectacular, but still amazing to watch. So thank you, too, for sending us a text at 10400 with those photos. Stunning.
Absolutely stunning.
We do have more on our website, ctvnewsatlantic.ca. Yes, and also too, speaking of text messages, in just a few minutes, a little later in the show, we're going to share that childhood chore that you dreaded. There were some gross ones that you had to do.
I mean, yeah, it comes with the territory, right?
It can.
Apparently not you.
No. But for others, yes.
for the rest of us.
Yeah.
All right, so visitors to Blackstrap Provincial Park in Saskatchewan are getting a chance to enjoy some winter adventures along with winter relaxation.
I thought it would be a really great collaboration to offer a sled dog and then a sauna after, because sometimes it can be really cold when you're dog sledding.
How cool is this? A dog sled as well as a sauna visit? Yeah. I mean, personally, it's cold in Saskatchewan, so this is something that you really want to experience. But then you get to see the sights and sounds of the provincial park and then warm up after. So, like, why not have that sauna experience? You're just, like, leave feeling so good.
Yeah.
Get to feed the doggos.
Nice.
Like, if you have to be there,
too.
might as well have some fun.
If you have to be there. Speaking from someone who lived in Saskatchewan. Yeah.
Gets cold.
It gets cold.
Oh,
it gets cold.
it's cold.
We think we're experiencing cold right now.
It's not like that. Yeah, I shouldn't even be complaining, really.
Oh, my gosh.
Okay, we're going to talk about the community calendar now. Frostival kicks off in Fredericton. This is an experience Atlantic Canada's largest winter celebration from January 22nd until February 8th. So there will be 3 fun-filled weekends of indoor and outdoor wintry activities, so you can come out and enjoy a winter wonderland. Head to their website for additional details. And a night of storytelling and music with singer and writer Faye Pond. Also storyteller Stuart McFarlane, along with musicians Peter Richards and John Rader. There will be tea and coffee and snacks. Yum, yum, yum. All right, next event, the Halifax RV Show and Sale is Atlantic Canada's premier event for RV enthusiasts. You can head over. This is an annual event taking place in Halifax for over 20 years now. So the show has brought together the latest in recreational vehicles, camping gear, and outdoor lifestyle products, from motorhomes to travel trailers to fifth wheels and truck campers. Visitors can explore a wide variety of units, all under one roof. Head to their website for additional details as well. And if you do have an upcoming event, please send us the details. We'd love to promote it. Your Morning Atlantic at ctv.ca.
Thanks, Latavia. Okay, one more break. Another look at the cold forecast for today and the coming days. And also, too, the power of scent to calm and reset. You might need this right now. Look how easy it is to build micro breaks into your day and the role that scent can play. That interview is coming up after the forecast.
Happy Wednesday and welcome back. The time now is 8:45, taking a live look at a sunny start to the day over in White Point. Currently minus 11 degrees in your area, so it is feeling quite cool, especially when you factor in that wind chill across Atlantic Canada. Early this morning, it is minus 19 degrees in Fredericton, minus 15 early this morning in Charlottetown, minus 11 in Halifax, minus 13 in Sydney, minus 16 degrees in Cartwright, and minus 10 in St. Anthony. For Newfoundland, we do have a snow squall watch in effect this morning until Thursday. Could see up to 25 centimeters within those snow squalls. Wind gusts ranging from 70 to 80 kilometers per hour. A cold warning for tonight until Thursday morning. The wind chill could near minus 35, and a snow squall warning and a wind warning with wind gusts between 80 to 100 kilometers per hour. For Labrador, we do have a wind warning, wind gusts of 100 for this morning until the evening, and a cold warning for this morning until the afternoon, wind chill nearing minus 45. So quite a cold start to the day, and we are seeing sunshine early this morning for much of Atlantic Canada. Not really helping to warm things up, though, this morning. We do have flurry activity for parts of Atlantic Canada into the afternoon, seeing a chance of flurries returning for parts of the Maritime region, around a 30% chance of it happening. Taking us into tonight, we do have another low-pressure system making its way over, bringing periods of snow and or rain across the region into Thursday's forecast. If you're wondering about snowfall accumulation, looking at around 1 to 5 centimeters for parts of all 3 maritime provinces. Heavier being 5 to 15 centimeters for parts of Labrador, 1 to 10 across parts of Newfoundland. Over to our forecast today for New Brunswick. Sunshine starts off the day. We do have a few flurries returning into the afternoon. Daytime highs between minus 9 to minus 3 and wind gusts of 50 kilometers per hour. For Prince Edward Island, flurries start off the day, already seeing sunshine across the island with highs between minus 8 to minus 7, wind gusts of 70 expected. For Cape Breton, eastern Nova Scotia, flurries start off the day as well. Into the afternoon will clearly be mainly cloudy skies with highs between minus 8 to minus 3. For the rest of Nova Scotia, starting off the day with sunshine, seeing a chance of flurries into the afternoon and daytime highs between minus 4 to minus 1. Labrador City, lots of sunshine for you today, but quite cold. Minus 28 degrees is your daytime high. Minus 6 for St. John's, Newfoundland, looking at a few flurries. Starting off your day, seeing a bit of sunshine into the afternoon. For Thursday's forecast, snow and or rain with the daytime highs kind of warming up for parts of the Maritime region above the freezing mark, but then going to dip back down as this low pressure system makes its way over to Newfoundland and Labrador. Friday's forecast, sunny skies with a chance of flurries returning into the evening. Brianne, it's cooling down. It's going to be quite cold. There is a deep freeze headed our way.
Thank you so much for that, Latavia. So do you know what a micro break is and how you can use them to gain balance, or what tricks are for obtaining it? Luckily, we have Rebecca Streeter here, co-founder and creative director of Avoda Retreats, and you're going to give us all of the details on this.
Yeah.
I love it. So what is a micro break and why is it important?
So a micro break is something that you do, you stop what you're doing. Ideally, you change positions for 60 seconds, and it helps retrain your brain to pause and refocus so that you can do the next task.
Why do we need them now?
Think about how stressed you are just in traffic driving here. Your jaw is clenched, your shoulders are up. If you can take 60 seconds and just breathe and relax everything and then move on with your day, you're going to find it a little more pleasant.
I was going to say, that sounds delightful. Yeah. Definitely necessary. So what is an aromatherapy nasal wand and how do you use it safely?
So aromatherapy nasal wands are small little scent sticks that are filled with essential oils. We use different scents to cue your brain to take a break. So you're going to use this. This one is our Revive and Thrive. It's for when you're overstimulated.
Always.
I use this a lot at conferences and when I'm out talking to people because I'm an introvert. And so I'm going to smell it. It has peppermint and eucalyptus, which is going to wake up my memory centers in my brain so I can feel more awake. And then it has lavender to calm my nervous system. And if I do breathing exercises, like just breathing in for 4 and out for 6 while I'm doing this, I'm going to feel immediately calmer.
Interesting.
Allows me to reset and think about, okay, what do I want to do next, especially when I'm overstimulated and there's everything around me. That scent will eventually train your brain because scents are tuned into our memory centers. Okay. So our sense of smell is the strongest sense tied to memory. Think about how realtors use the cookies because it reminds people of comfort and coziness. So we use scent to help you remember to do these healthy habits. Now, at a base level, they're all just to get you to breathe more deeply. Okay. Because we don't breathe deeply enough. But we have different scents, and that can go with different feelings. So we have one for when you're feeling anxious, and it comes with a little QR code that's going to give you physical things that you can do when you're feeling anxious to help calm your body. And you're going to do it while you're smelling the inhaler, and eventually that scent will cue your body to do it automatically.
Amazing. So why is it so important to take micro breaks throughout your workday then?
Because we don't spend enough time, especially here in North America, to just sit and breathe and be in our own bodies. We're not very self-aware of how we're feeling. So if you can take that little break and be like, oh, maybe I'm hungry, maybe I actually need to go get something to eat, or maybe I'm thirsty, I've just realized maybe I need to go grab a quick drink before my next meeting, or, you know, just to reset and maybe think, oh, this is what the next task that's really important right now.
Amazing. I mean, these smell incredible, and this is what we're going to be doing on our break, because we get a nice little break here in between. But of course, we're linking your website to ours, and we're going to link these wands as well. So thank you so much for coming in today.
Thank you for having me.
So I'm going to take a break and figure these out, and we'll be right back after this.
Welcome back. We've reached the end of the show, and this is the time we share your answers, your text messages to the Move Morning Chat. And today we were talking about what was a childhood chore that you just dreaded as a kid, and you guys had some doozies. No wonder you dreaded them. Let's start with LJ from Middleton. Cleaning up dog poo in the yard before I mowed the lawn. Both my least favorite chore, but couldn't do one without the other.
Fair, because you definitely don't want to be pushing that lawnmower over the dog poop.
No. The worst is if you leave it for like a day and then it's all mushed down. You got to pick it up anyway. I did that once as like in my teens. Never did it again.
Lesson learned. Nancy from Paradise, Nova Scotia. A chore I hated to do as a kid was washing the supper dishes in a family of 6. Peter talked about this too. It seemed never ending. My fingers were all like prunes. That made me feel nauseous when or if I touched a newspaper afterwards.
I feel that, like the newspaper afterwards. I loved doing the dishes because me and my sister would just sing Disney songs the whole entire time.
Cute.
Yeah.
That is sweet. My grandma used to say, I do my best thinking when I do the dishes. And that's how I feel now. But I don't have a family of 6 I would do dishes for.
I did.
Tom from Lower Vaughan, Nova Scotia says carrying water from the well.
That sounds cool, but heavy.
Oh,
it sounds
heavy.
like a good workout, Tom.
If you're a kid, woo-wee. Hopefully you don't have to do that anymore, Tom.
Right?
Listen to this. Elle from Hammonds Plains. When I was young, my family lived in a house without a toilet, and my siblings and I would take turns carrying out the bucket to the outhouse.
No, ma'am. Nope. No, thank you.
That's a no from me.
Oh, Elle.
Elle.
No wonder. I feel bad for complaining that I had to pack my backpack the night before. I saw this and I said, oh my gosh, that was my one chore. I do not know.
Elle, my hat's off to you.
Hats off to you. Monica from Eastern Passage says, this isn't something I hated, but I'm with you, Amanda. I can't go to bed in a bed that wasn't made. I have to make it first.
Oh, see, Monica's got your back.
See, Monica has my back, because if you missed the conversation earlier in the show, I said, okay, we were talking about like how we like to make our beds. If I, for some reason, have not made my bed in the morning, like I remake it before I crawl in. Yes, it does.
Oh, look,
it makes
it's perfect.
sense.
I spent all this time doing it just to crawl back.
Take it off and go into bed.
But it makes sense to me. And then sometimes I find my old socks that I've kicked off at the bottom of the bed. We're all over
whatever makes sense to you is what you have to do. I could like see you making the bed, going to brush your teeth, and then coming back, because then at least there's something that's happening.
Yeah, there's something in between. Okay,
I'll do that.
I can wrap my brain around.
Right? Like I can work with that.
But like initially, finally,
but just like
finishing
it, making it, and then just to take it back off and jump in.
It's very rare I leave it to that point, though, ladies. Okay. I'm not an animal. Classy lady over here.
Yes, that you are.
We hope you join us on the show tomorrow too. We have lots coming up. The Halifax Stanfield Airport. We'll be talking about a volunteer program. We'll have financial advice, and Spice Cooking is back. See you then.